It's
Really,
assumed to be
usually we have to
7.
wait an hour for you.
I did actually get gotten. I don't know if it was by this campaign or Jake's campaign, but one of them there was a spat of 8s, and then I went to bed and woke up and it was 7.
I think this one
No,
did.
I only delay mine if people tell me they're gonna be a certain amount of time late, and I'm okay with waiting for them.
Mm-hmm. No. I always assume 7 unless I hear otherwise. And so, if I don't hear otherwise... All right. So, since we're all here, you guys ready to get started?
Me not
Hell
finished
yeah.
with things yet.
All right.
Good.
I am still working on the days of the week, but months at least are all named at this point, as well as the last 3 days of every month. So, yay, progress. Woo!
Hell yeah.
Let me get to thing.
That knows me is best, Lord.
Well, we can do the thing. There it goes. Taking a hot minute there. All right. Well, who wants to start us off?
I'm working on it. I realize you should have been thinking of this way earlier.
I woke up 2 minutes ago.
Monsters at my command.
Ooh, let me make sure I don't say something I've already said. Otherwise, I will at some point, and I just know it's just not gonna be a good look.
I'd hope I'd know this, but I don't know. Once we get to like more than this, maybe. We don't have that many.
Gouvet starts every morning with aerobic exercises and stretches.
Freaking brain. Stop.
Lieka would die before giving up her sword. She values it that much.
Time to steal Yako's sword because it's funny.
Johnny
I
would
will
die
kill you
before
with my
he got his
fists.
sword.
All right. I guess I'll give it to you.
Yay.
Endless hunger.
What were you saying, Lumpy?
No.
I was saying, Johnny would rather die than give up
The
his sword.
Empire.
Jesus.
Your new sword.
Unwise.
No.
There you go. Johnny would also die than give up his sword.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, boys, we got some real interesting character development this time.
I know, very interesting.
Real diverse too.
slice body, keep organs. Time
Sure, it's nice that we have two
No,
things.
Mine was a joke.
I figured.
Mine wasn't.
more man things than war beasts.
We also probably figured that.
Did you have a real one, Lumpy, or are you going with the joke one?
Give me a second.
Maybe it's one of my brew.
I always forget to do this.
My problem is,
Everyone does.
I always remember it
Endless hunger.
generally while we're waiting for Peyton. And then I go, oh shit, I should think of that. And then I
No
start
one
thinking
else
about it, and then I
thinks
get
about
sidetracked. I start like watching like a YouTube video, then we get to it, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not ready.
Twisted flesh.
The AIDS.
Yeah, me being late because I'm asleep and set the wrong alarm is actually just me giving you guys time to think of personality traits. And still no one fucking does it.
Hey. Mine are usually pretty good.
Yeah.
Many
Yeah.
levers, many pointy things.
I'd be willing to say
Danger.
that. Yeah.
I've had a couple very lazy ones. Like the spiders one, that was me being like, well, this is the first thing I thought of, and this character might not even be in this campaign next session, so like, I'll give myself a lazy one.
I think Johnny's favorite thing
Is the best lord.
is being recognized before introducing himself.
Yeah, that fits.
Is loyal.
No connection, huh?
Maybe
That's
it's one of
good.
my brood.
Recognized for introducing himself?
I think before introduce yourself.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of the way it is. If you're not recognized.
Hi, I'm
Hey, I
Johnny.
recognize
What?
you, the person I literally just met seconds ago after they told me their name.
Hi, I'm Johnny Vanguard. Do you know me? I mean, you just said you're Johnny Vanguard, I guess. Yes!
I remember,
Damn, that feels good.
I remember having a conversation with someone back in college where they were like, we were talking back and forth, and they told me how old they were at some point earlier in the conversation. And they're like, yeah, you know, I'm. She was really, really short, so she was like, you know, how old do you think I am? And I went and I looked at her, and I'm like, well, since you told me earlier about this old,
Nah, you should have
It's
just
like-
licked it.
I was like, come on, it's not that hard to remember the conversation, right?
Should have said older.
Fuck.
She probably wouldn't have been actually quite as mad. She was annoyed that she always kept getting viewed as a little kid. So,
Yeah.
Well,
At
His
last.
favorite thing is being recognized before introducing himself, and next week I'm gonna say that his second favorite thing is introducing himself.
Kill, harvest pods.
all right. So now that we have that out of the way, do you guys remember what was going on when we last left?
I don't remember where we ended actually. No, I do. We arrived at that village and it was like under siege or something. It was like on
Mhm.
fire.
Oh, you're right.
The fucking
just had
greenskin
to-
siege.
I had to backtrack.
So, yeah. You guys are a
Do we see who's sieging it? Is it like for
yeah,
sure
it's
gob-
obvious.
gobbies? Okay. Gobby
Yeah.
hobbies.
I mean, it's
Hobby.
not entirely goblins; it's a mix, but it is definitely greenskins. And currently sieged, as in they're blocking the wall and blockading the city for the most part. They aren't actively attacking it yet. And the siege party is very, very big. easily in the hundreds of goblins, plus a dozen or so ogres, orcs, etc.
We can take them.
I agree.
This is a problem.
I think that's an understatement.
So, you guys are still a ways off. So, you can see like the bodies and whatnot kind of set up around the town, but it doesn't seem that you've been spotted yet.
Well, I'm not sure how we're supposed to really get an assist or anything. But obviously we have to, so we should figure something out.
What did you say?
I said I'm not sure how we're going to sneak in, but we have to sneak in. Essentially.
I can make us invisible.
All of us?
Just one at a time.
Doesn't this seem like it'd drain you?
What?
Doesn't it seem like it'd drain Theo, how low do you have me?
I have you at 200%.
How low do you have your overall audio?
Pretty high.
0%.
Everyone else.
You're the consistently like the only person that has trouble hearing me.
Theo, he said you're the only one who consistently.
I heard that.
Fuck. That was a good one.
No, I know you repeated yourself, Jake, but I forgot what you said. I got distracted.
Essentially asked,
Doesn't-
wouldn't that
That's
be
kind of
draining for you?
draining. Holy shit.
Casting was
Whatever. We'll just pretend that Mo just flat out didn't understand it, because Payton this time was speaking over you, so I couldn't hear what you said.
A new plan where just only type to Theo.
Maybe.
Well, if we're helping a city, we really shouldn't go in being drained. Besides, I don't really want you to be casting things on me.
Alright, I only have enough for 3 of us.
No, guess I'll find my own way in if you guys want to do it that way.
I don't have to type this. Fuck. Does there appear to be like any like gaps in the defense? The outer defense, not the actual wall. The siege camp's defense, I guess.
I mean, it's still daytime, so there's still plenty of orcs and goblins and whatnot up and wandering around.
Mm-hmm.
And the terrain is not particularly like well forested or anything, so. Yeah. You guys are like 500 feet off, so everything's pretty small.
500 feet, huh?
I'm serious though. I'll find my own way if you guys want to go in invisibly.
I'm not sure you'd be the best finding your own way in. You're not exactly stealthy.
Just the armor. I could just take that off.
I mean, are you actually stealthy without it?
Mildly.
If we're willing to wait a few hours, I can dig
I mean, we should
I don't-
definitely not go in during daylight, I think.
I don't think we have a few hours though. Like, sure, they're just blockading it right now, but
I mean, how rowdy do they seem?
Most of them are crying.
We got plenty of time, boys.
I mean, they don't seem to be actively like gearing up to attack.
We probably got a bit.
this is weird.
Yeah, I've ever seen this shit before.
Like a full army? Not really. Raiding is more usual, but this force is not a raiding force. Clearly, it's definitely set up to breach the city somehow, or breach this little town.
This is entirely new to me.
Wonder if I could go
Like
find.
this
the
is an organized
commander.
force. It's not a bunch of random goblins riding wolves or whatever, charging through a city, slaughtering people. It's an actual army set up.
I could. Hmm. Well, if we're waiting till nightfall anyway, I'm gonna go around the city, see if there's anything to note.
Digging's not needed to be done in nighttime.
Well, if you want to start digging, then go for it. I'm still gonna take some time to walk around.
I guess I'll start digging.
And I'm gonna be going around the city, still at a safe distance, mostly because I want to see if there is any obvious like commander.
I mean, there are like somewhat patrol guards. Their camp is set up, around the whole city because that's just going to result in them getting shot a whole bunch. But they have like their main group and then like scouting parties that seem to be moving around the city to make sure that they don't escape. I mean, there's only like 2 gates, you notice. One that, of course, is connected to the road you're going in, and then the other one. As for a leader, you do notice that there is an orc that kind of breaks off from the camp and steps up to the gate. He has a few guards, but for the most part, it's just like him plus a handful of goblins. And he seems to walk towards the gate. He's a little more ostentatiously dressed, and he holds a big, huge freaking axe, but it's hard to tell. You just don't know enough about orcish culture to tell right off the bat if he's a leader or not. He's definitely someone important. But you see him walk up to the gate and clearly is like yelling up at it. But of course, at this distance, it's impossible to catch really much more than the vague sense of they're yelling. And eventually, you see a couple of the guards pop their heads over the gate. One of them goes to take a shot with his rifle and gets bombarded by magic missiles from the goblins. The orc then like shakes his head, maybe? He definitely moves his head somehow and then kind of walks away from the gate back to the kind of center of the camp. At least what you'd assume to be the center.
Well, this is a problem. And how like dense with people is this camp, you'd say?
I mean, it's pretty dense. They're kind of like the camp is kind of set up in like just walking kind of around it. It has a few definite areas that you can view even from the outside edge. So it seems like the goblins have kind of their own area, and then they have the hobgoblins, and then the orcs and not the trolls, and the ogres have their own area. In particular, you don't actually see any trolls.
If I were to guess, how hard would it be to sneak into the camp? to
During
get
the
to where that
daytime,
orc was likely is.
impossible.
Hmm.
During the night, it depends on how effective their guard patrols are, because all of them can see in the dark. Depends on really how many guards.
I can't see in the dark, so like if I'm going in there, it's daytime going in there for sure.
Yeah. It definitely looks like the camp is currently up and running, but it's you don't know how it's looking during the nighttime, as it hasn't happened yet.
Hey, can I check how many goblins are in the immediate area?
Your immediate thing comes back with a lot of goblins.
Mm.
The number is high enough that it starts making your head hurt when you start to try and count them.
That's good. I haven't seen that in a while. Haven't
Yeah.
seen that yet in this campaign.
Which, just as a vague note, your head starts to hurt after about 100. So,
Mhm.
at least 100 in like the same general area. 100 split into a bunch of different groups doesn't count. But it also, makes it a little hard to sense any other goblins, because this goblin horde is, well, overbearing.
Big.
Your sense basically goes, "Hey, I found a bunch of goblins," and you're like, "Great! How many are there elsewhere?" And it's like, "I don't know. There's a bunch of them there."
It's like when you have a bright flashlight shining directly into your face, and it's like, all right, so I think there's like a candle over there, I guess, somewhere, like next to it. Where the huh?
Pretty much, yeah. But there's definitely over 100. You don't know how many exactly, because the number is it's too high for your sense to give you an accurate number.
Mm-hmm.
If you concentrated, you might be able to get it, but it's going to result in your head freaking pounding after a while.
Yeah, you know what, we can save that for a situation where we might be able to actually do more.
Mechanically, I'm going to say you make a con save at in this case, there's a lot of goblins, but a fairly decent DC. And if you fail, you take honestly, if you fail, you get a level of exhaustion and don't get what you're trying to do. If you succeed, you at least figure out how many goblins is within about 100. But you still get the level of exhaustion regardless.
Yeah, that's
It
not worth
is-
it at all.
It is
Exhaustion
very,
sucks.
very, very tough. But yeah, there we go. Unless you're able to turn invisible, it's going to be pretty much impossible to get into that camp.
I just
least-
walk in.
I mean, that works. You don't know what will
Mhm.
happen if you do that, but you can do it.
It's pretty high up on the consideration tier list right now.
What would happen if you do that? I fucking wonder.
I've come to join the siege.
I've come to bargain. No.
Oh, so they were yelling,
Yeah.
and then they killed the guy, and he seemed disappointed almost.
Yeah,
Is that the
most
impression
people
I
are
got from him
disappointed
shaking
if
his
they
head?
can't fucking send it.
I mean, you can get that impression, but it's impossible to tell his expression that far away.
Yeah, but like I just saw him shake his head. Is what I'm asking, and like that.
Yeah,
that's what
but
I'm basing
you don't know what the shaking of the head was referencing, but yes, it is a good chance that it has something to do with disappointed.
Most people are disappointed when they actually have to assault the walls and the garrison won't surrender.
I guess I'll go back to the party before I do anything.
As you guys are watching, it's very hard to get an accurate count, but it's pretty obvious. The number of ogres is easy to count because they are the least numerical. There are 12. They seem to hold to their own little area, which apparently is some sort of crafting area from what you can tell. Mostly because they seem to be crafting, siege weapons. Well, if you count a battering ram as a siege weapon.
By definition.
And if you count a battering ram as a big tree the ogres carry.
Well, once again, definitions.
Other than that,
Is it like a
There are very, very high number of goblins, definitely above 100, you know, but it's hard to tell the exact number. There's a good number of orcs, and a good number of hobgoblins. The hobgoblins at least are a little easier to count because they kind of set themselves up in like squads and whatnot. So you guess there's probably between about 150 to 250 hobgoblins or so.
Hmm.
Which means
150 to
goblins are
250
quite a
hobgoblins.
bit. You get to find out how many of them can shoot longbows if you shoot at them. The answer is a lot of them.
Yeah, but how many can shoot longbows instantly at me? That's the real question. I mean, they'll have to move into position.
Seeing as they're not doing most of the guarding, you'd assume that would take them at least a little while. They left most of the guarding to the goblins, unsurprisingly. Because the goblins are, well, there to die, basically. As is Greenskin Tactics forevermore.
Imagine how depressing it would be if one of us played a goblin.
Yep. It would
If I
be
was
very
playing goblin,
depressing.
it'd be very unfortunate.
The racism they would experience would be
It'd be great.
So, yep. Oyaka, you returned to the party without issue.
Back.
No. It doesn't look like they're keeping too close a watch on outside of the walls. So, it's not too hard to keep moving around as long as you don't, you know, run around and scream or anything making your presence obvious.
So, I saw something weird. There was like what looked like some sort of at least leader, like an orc, who went up to the gates. And he started yelling some stuff up, and then a guard popped out and got just like shot to death with magic. So kind of frown when she says that part.
Yeah, he got hit by like between 12 and 20 magic missiles. It's a lot of
Mhm.
missiles.
But what was weird was the orc after it happened kind of like shook his head like he was disappointed.
Have I ever heard of this fucking behavior before?
Seeing as you're more used to goblins, the orcs don't attack as often. I'll let you roll history for it. You wouldn't have heard it without issues.
Sure. Let's try that.
You do know that sometimes orcs, especially like orc war chiefs, will give settlements and other groups a chance to surrender before they attack. It's not a universal thing, but it's enough. Orcs have a certain level of honor. It's not honor as like a knight's honor, but they do have at least a level of honor. They fight but they're not going to start a fight, basically, unless they need
All
to.
right. So if the town did surrender and just went, all right, I guess we're fucking leaving now, and this is your city now, then it's at least relatively unlikely that the orc would be like, all right, dumbasses, and start killing them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, that's assuming the orc has full command, as this is a mixed group. As you know, that the greenskin tribes don't always get along. So, especially between hobgoblins and orcs. Ogres and goblins are just kind of along for the ride. as a fun-filled note, goblins in the New World do not ride wolves.
Thank fucking
That's
God
not-
for that.
What do they ride?
They don't ride anything.
Each other mostly.
They ride ogres usually.
It's not particularly
Think
effective.
about it. Yeah. They sometimes will build things on ogres or just climb on their backs and use them as basically mobile archer posts. It's mostly northern goblins who ride wolves.
I will inform the rest of my party of what I have remembered about orcs.
Well, we should probably just, well, I guess I don't know. Does this city most likely have a chance against, this kind of a force?
I'm going to take a guess that I look at the city, look at the force, and go, no.
Based on the city, or on this little, it's really more of a town. It's got like a wooden wall, not a
Mhm.
stone one. They probably have, on average, a probably militia force of about 100. They can probably muster up to about 300 if they like kind of grabbed every person they possibly could that could like conceivably fight well. And then of course the more normal civilians would also probably throw in. But in all, it's probably 400 real fighters out of the town of between 2 to 3 to maybe 5,000 at the biggest, but it doesn't look like it's 5,000. It looks closer to 3, just based on the wall and the general size of the map. The force is outnumbers them at least 2 to 1, based on those numbers, if not more. If you had a full count, then you'd be able to tell. But
I mean, they had actual fortifications and not a wooden wall, then maybe. Maybe.
yeah, the moment the battering ram is going to attack the wall will no longer be a wall.
As
It'll be
it stands, no, they will get killed. Probably down to the last.
We need to convince them to surrender. Anyhow, I'm gonna go talk to the commander there and have him let me into the city so I can convince them to surrender.
Alright, let's go fucking do this, I guess. Sling rifle. Ugh.
But no, you're not taking that.
But yeah, I am.
I'll hand you my sword.
And I should probably take my armor off too. So I'm gonna go in there. They'll be like, hey, can you let me through into the city so I can convince them to surrender?
I have a feeling that you're not going to be the one who's going to have to convince them to surrender, given that you're not the one from the colony.
Yeah, I'm not, but
Alright. I'm going to hand the sword back, and if you refuse to take it, I will just drop it on the ground, and I'm going to start walking towards the camp.
Guess I'll pick
Alright.
up. I'll pick up and sheath the sword, then hurry along.
All right. Are you aiming for the camp or for the gate? As they are 2 different places.
I will hustle in front of Gouvet and start bringing her towards where I saw the orc.
Sure. I'll allow myself to be led.
Where the orc was, or where the orc is currently?
Where I saw him last.
Okay, so in front of the gate. All right. Yeah. As you guys are walking towards that gate, you definitely get spotted as you're just walking towards the gate. While they don't keep a very close eye, they do have at least some eyes. And you see a couple of goblins kind of point you out, and a small group in goblin numbers, which is about like 10, plus a couple of orcs and a hobgoblin kind of march out. And they still have weapons drawn. The orcs, of course, don't wear very much armor, as is their usual. The hobgoblins have a fairly nice set of chainmail each. And the goblins just kind of have whatever they've cobbled together, which is a mix of leather and metal plates. Plus, shields, spears, other normal goblin weaponry. And the orc who, all orcs of this place has this kind of greenish, kind of like a greenish red. I'm trying to think of a good way to describe it. I guess it's a very, very dark green, kind of leading towards red in some ways. Just kind of pulls up his force, about 20 feet off.
Mm-hmm.
What you need, humans? This is our town for the taking. You better shove off.
Oh yeah, go and to be honest, that's why I'm here. It's
You
pretty
did
apparent.
have to name Master Need.
Oh, I thought you said names.
No.
Apologies.
We're here to negotiate.
Well, and by negotiate, we mean convince the people in there to surrender so that you don't have to kill all of them.
Potato, potato.
One of the hobgoblins leans forward to the orc and goes to say something before the orc gives him a look. And he turns back. Bro already tried that. They said no. And then
Yeah,
tried to shoot him.
Yeah, but
From what I gather,
he.
correct me if I'm wrong here, Groove. I think the people of the colony are very stubborn.
You can say that again. Like rocks they are.
Oh,
Harder even than rocks.
And I mean this in the nicest way possible.
Start
but
looking very proud, despite the
not
situation.
they're not gonna surrender to if you
course.
ask. They might surrender if someone they don't consider to be loathsome asks.
Well, what's not saying that you'll go inside and help the defenders?
Do you really think two people are gonna make much of a difference? Do you really think I want to die here like this?
Well, you might be magic humans. How do I know?
Don't insinuate that again.
She has issues with magic, and Pog. I use guns, so shrug.
Look, I just don't want unnecessary deaths.
Well, no way.
Yeah, so we want to go talk to the war boss and try and negotiate a peaceful outcome.
I don't think Raw's gonna want to talk to you. We'll let you go to the fort and you can yell to the guards, maybe.
Alright.
Enough.
Alright. Come on. And he kind of motions for the goblins to, surround. They kind of do. They leave your, retreat still mostly open. There's only a single goblin back there. But, I mean, he is there. Holding his spear. Trying to look fearless. And, of course, failing horrifically. But he's trying.
Alright, good news. Our retreat is as open as it was from the start. Nice.
Yep. And they... I'll push and prod you guys towards the gate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna really resist it. I'm just gonna let him push.
Walk along calmly.
Well, I mean, they're pushing with their spears, so they're kind of poking you.
That's fine.
If at least you get slow enough. If you keep a normal walking pace, then they kind of have to keep up, so they don't get to poke.
I feel like normal
But-
walking paces.
Yep. The orc stops about 50 feet away from the gate, along with one of the hobgoblins. The other one makes sure the goblins keep, you guys penned in. As he's yelling stuff about, well, for you, Peyton, you can understand him yelling because he's yelling in Goblin. For the goblins to keep up, one side or the other if they start to move in the wrong way. It seems to be kind of working. Well enough, anyway. And eventually, you guys are pushed to within about 30 feet or so away from the gate. The guards poke their heads out, most likely because they don't want to have another repeat of what just happened not too long ago.
Hey, is there someone up there that I can talk to?
You hear kind of from the other side of the gate quietly. Who's asking?
Gouvet Klein?
Vade Klein doesn't sound like an orc.
It isn't.
They don't have any of them mages over there, right?
I will
No
look
touch.
around. You guys mages? I am going to ask that in Goblin as a note.
I mean, all the goblins look like they don't have any marks on them. The hobgoblin doesn't seem to. So, if they are, they're hiding it very well.
They don't appear to be mages.
All right. Well, come send someone up to talk. And you hear a furious discussion on the other side of the gate.
I would die like this. You die like this.
And eventually, a very young man gets pushed over the wall. And kind of stands there on top of it, trying to look like he's actually important, even though it's pretty obvious to you that he's basically a new trainee.
God, what'd you join? 2 weeks ago? Fuck.
Yep. Dusty blonde hair, blue eyes, etc. Otherwise, imagine 15-year-old kid who barely has been a rifle placed in his hand for real combat rather than the childhood combat of his youth.
Christ.
Yeah. He looks down over the wall and then yells back, "Yeah, it's person that has the pointed ears and then some sort of sword lady
Yeah,
or something."
close enough.
You hear them kind of like trying to yell just quiet enough for only them to hear and kind of failing, but it's nothing all that exciting other than get on with it in lawn form. So he spins back around, placing both hands on the wall. So, what's going on? You captured?
No. We can just walk here normally.
Just cast a look at the surrounding goblins. Uh-huh. So, what exactly are you wanting now? We are kind of in the middle of a siege, you know?
Yeah,
Can't really
don't
let
worry,
you
it's-
in.
it's related to that. So you got a guy named Cook in there somewhere?
Just kind of turns around. We have a cook. You hear a discussion on the other side. Eventually yell back, "We got like 10 cooks. Why does she want to cook?" He turns back around. "Yeah, we got like 10 cooks. But I don't really know why you'd want grub outside the wall."
No, last name Cook.
Oh. Okay. 1 second. Turns back around and basically yells the same question back down. And gets very confused for a moment as they seem to yell back, "We already told you." Eventually it's sorted out. And he turns around. "Yeah, we got like 3 people named Cook."
Alright, we want to negotiate for the surrender of the city. So not everyone here is going to die.
I don't think I have the authority to surrender my city.
A, it isn't your fucking city. B, otherwise you would have the authority. And B, somebody in there's got the authority.
Who lives in it counts as his city just as much as everyone else's.
I mean, I might be able to go get the mayor, but he's kind of explicitly told us to not go near the wall and whatnot, you know, because arrows, magic, and whatnot.
Well, you've already come this far. Might as well go a little bit farther.
And are you being arrowed in magic right now?
I mean, no, but I don't think he's gonna really trust me when I say some random strangers walked up to the asked for our surrender and they weren't green.
I mean, how many witnesses do you think it'd take? There's gotta be at least like 5 of you back there who can witness this event.
He's probably more than 5. You see him, like, turn back. Yeah, there's like 7 of us back here.
Christ. Can you just get
alternatively,
some...
you can let us in.
But that would mean we'd have to open the gate. And he just kind of looks at the orc. I don't
That's
think
fair.
I want to do that.
Hey, you could like throw down a rope. We can climb pretty well.
I guess that might be an idea, yeah. A rope. Yeah, you know what? They're not shooting, boss. You talk to him. And he walks down the wall, and you see a much older man come up. Clearly very, very grizzled old human. Graying hair. He obviously has seen some stuff. One of his eyes is gone.
Howdy.
1 second. Yep. Wearing some real armor and whatnot, along with a pistol on his belt. So, what exactly are you asking for? Our surrender? Unconditional or conditional?
I will look at the orc and ask whether or not this is a conditional surrender. Likely getting a response of, what the fuck's a conditional surrender?
Yep, the orc starts with, it's a surrender, there isn't, and then the hobgoblin leans in and probably whispers what conditional means. And the orc nods. It's an unconditional surrender. You're not giving him anything. You see, they
Unconditional
turn
would
back
be-
around because the guy can hear. He's only 50 feet off. He just kind of nods. Yes, so that's gonna be a problem.
You sure it isn't conditional? Like, are they not allowed to like leave with their lives or something? Normally, unconditional surrender is like a little bit iffy. Can't really trust that.
Yeah, the orc starts to rage, and then the hobgoblin once again leans forward and whispers in his ear again. The orc calms down. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, they can leave with their lives. We just want the stuff.
Semi-conditional.
The old commander on the wall just kind of chews for a moment. I mean, how much stuff are we talking? The orc just kind of thinks about it for a moment. You see him pull one of his hands up and start to count the fingers, and then count his other hand. Oh, we need this much for the coming winter, and next for how much paying ogres. And, you know what, let's just figure it out after we're inside. We'll find out how much you got.
I mean, if you figure it out now, then you won't even have to continue the siege. I could just give you the stuff.
How do we know they won't cheat us? We are colonies, men. Men from the colonies.
Oh, and I just heard they're men. I'm like, what? What does that have to do with anything?
He's a feminist.
Yeah. I mean, you could have like people who know how to count more than their hands check it over after the fact.
This really seems like you guys could just have a mutually beneficial relationship.
Mutually beneficial means
Both help
leans
each
forward
other.
again, and then nods.
Should
I
we just be fucking talking to you?
don't really see how exactly that works out for us. Like, we show up, we make
Look, 'cause
angry
when-
gestures at each other, and then we break in and take things.
Yeah, but see, sometime you're gonna do that and it's not gonna just work. Especially if they prepare for you properly.
Maybe. It's worked the last few times, though.
Yeah,
Grohl is very, very good.
doesn't mean it'll work.
He's
next time.
a tactical commander. Yeah.
A tactician?
Yeah, that. He knows how to make the walls fall down, and then the people with the guns go away. Very effective. They only take heavy goblin casualties.
If he's a
That's a
tactician,
problem.
then he...
Why? They're goblins.
Yeah, why? You lost me here.
A few of the goblins mutter something about, yeah, and we're dying for you freaking idiots.
Yeah, and you'll keep dying if you keep sassing.
The hobgoblin
Yes,
definitely
Illinois
gives the
life.
few that mutter a glare.
But I'm saying
Nice,
you
stop
could
talking.
just like, you have a large group. You could just like protect people here. Get paid for it. And
What
ideally
is
they'll-
this protect? I don't
Alright.
understand.
You know
So you know how
other
those guys
goblins
are trying
raid-
to keep you from all the loot?
Yeah?
You keep all the guys who want that loot from them, and they give you loot.
But we're the only ones who are going to want loot.
For
Or
now.
the other war bands.
So in that case, you're doing it and you're getting loot for free.
I guess it is pretty fun to bash up the other war bands. Sorry, bastards. DC's laughs at them for their failure. Especially for going up against Grawl. We will think about it. I'll have to go talk to Grawl about it.
Mhm.
Why don't you just bring him here?
Because he just came out here.
Yeah, but there's been a new development.
Do what?
New development. He turns to the hobgoblin, who just mutters,
Things have changed.
"Oh. I guess I can go try." He's probably busy, though.
Right?
Doing
We'll wait here.
tactics. He clearly doesn't fully understand what tactics are, but he knows they're somehow important. So he mutters something and then walks off back towards the camp. The hobgoblin stays, along with, of course, his companion and the small group of goblins.
So how much does he actually know about what's going on right now? Like, how much do you think he actually understands?
Who are you
I'm
directing? that
asking the
question at?
hobgoblin as a note.
The one who is helping him, or the one who's
The one who
hurting
is
the
helping
goblin?
him.
All right. That hobgoblin, by the way, is. I mean, they're still dressed in the full armor and whatnot, but they carry a metal staff rather than sword, like the other one.
Mhm.
And they just kind of look at you and shrug. I figure they know enough, right?
Yeah.
Grawl wants his leaders to be orcs. It's not my fault. They're all dumb as a box of bricks.
Eh,
I guess most of them are a box of bricks. Some of them are smarter. At least
that's
understand how
just-
numbers work.
At least that one seems relatively receptive.
Yeah, that's taken a while.
Can't win them all.
So, you guys are left standing there for about 10 or so minutes. And then the same orc that left comes back, along with the orc that came out the first time. So, like, talk with the men on the walls.
Mhm.
Along with a significantly larger orc. Like, the guy on the walls and the first orc aren't small by orc comparisons. Like, they're still about 7 feet tall, as all orcs are. Only runs to, like, around the 6 era. This one's, like, a good 8. He stands, like, a head taller than the other two.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely wears magical armor or either some sort of, like, very, very tough and shiny armor, along with a very large sword. It might be a great sword, but the way he holds it, it doesn't appear to be, since he's carrying it around in one hand, even though it's like most of his height.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the one I saw yelling up to the wall?
The one you saw yelling is here, but it is a different orc. It's one of the two smaller ones. The one with
You're a
the big
big guy.
axe. Yep. He looks at you. Hello. What do I owe the pleasure of being dragged out from my session to figure out what's going on with this nonsense?
Oh, well, we're trying to
Thinking
work
about
out.
surrendering.
Yes,
All
we're trying to
right.
negotiate a surrender, more or less. Also, possibly a future deal where you protect them and they pay you, so we don't have to deal with this fucking shit in the future.
This town was too far away from my camp to do that efficiently. What exactly are you proposing for the current deal?
Well, we had to make sure you were even receptive for it, so.
We need the current supplies. I doubt this settlement is big enough to give us the requisite supplies without keeping enough for themselves. Hence the siege. By the way, this orc is actually speaking in this way. He definitely seems significantly more intelligent than his two companions.
Oh, thank God. I mean, I'll yell up to the wall and ask how many supplies they could spare without completely collapsing.
The commander just kind of thinks about it for a moment and then spouts off a number that is very clearly too low. As apparently the orc named Grawl just kind of, well, growls up at the wall and says something in Orcish, which I doubt either of you understand, if I recall correctly.
I don't speak Orcish.
Yeah, I believe it's Lumpy that speaks Orcish. Yeah, and he turns back. As I suspected, they're not willing to give up more. It
Yeah, how
would
many
barely
supplies do you
cover the
actually have
basic
in there?
cost. The commander definitely doesn't, like, give you the real number.
Mm-hmm.
He lists a number higher than the last one, but it's only marginally higher. Like, if we're going to give the supplies a random supplies number, he basically cites like 100 and then gives you 150. You're pretty sure that 150 would not make this town last a siege more than like a week at most.
Yeah. If there's that many supplies, the town already wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Is this really the time for this? Like, do you all want to die here?
These are your people.
Yeah. And support them. If they all want to die, then that's their right.
He kind of does a salute. Don't exactly want to die over this, but I can't give up our entire supply cache just for that. We don't have enough supplies. We're too small.
You're gonna
Settlement
give it
is
up,
still
or you're
fairly
just
new.
get taken from you is the problem.
Well, at least we can cull their numbers a little for the next settlement. Grawl just kind of smiles up at the
okay.
wall. He doesn't say anything, but he definitely gives a smile.
How far away was this from the other settlement? It was like 2 days, right?
Yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah, I think it was further than that, but I think it was closer to 4 days. But yeah,
Was it?
It was. It's far enough that they aren't able to just march on the other settlement without issues.
Mm-hmm.
Far enough that a messenger will take a minute to get there.
So I was more or less trying to think of how difficult would it be to get Concord to send like relief supplies. Not a relief force, but supplies.
I mean, it really depends on the number
can I get an approximate amount out of fucking Big Man?
He gives an approximate amount of about double what the guy was saying that they currently had.
Mm-hmm. And how difficult do I think it would be to get that from Concord?
Depends on how you phrase it, but it would be a pretty tough sell to begin with.
Good.
And of course, if you phrase it as, hey, we're trying to save a city or save one of the nearby towns against an orc raid, you're going to get turned down immediately. You know this.
Mm-hmm.
Because unsurprisingly, Concord is not going to shell out freaking anything to help out an orcish raiding party. That's not happening.
Mm-hmm. I don't think of the best way out of this. And I'm coming up blank.
Yep. Both the same other parties seem to have come to the same conclusion.
Hmm.
Someone just wants to kill each other.
Yeah, it's effective.
Yay. No, it isn't.
Oh no, it super is. Alright, well, sounds like either way the town's going down. I would at least suggest, surrender, live to live another day, et cetera, et cetera. If they surrender, they will be able to leave with their lives, right? All the normal surrender shit.
So long as they don't try and burn any of the supplies or damage any facilities, I can allow that.
Look
Might be an
up
orc,
to,
but I'm not a monster.
look, but don't say anything. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, the commander on the wall thinks about it. How much of a head start are we getting? The orc looks kind of annoyed. As much of a head start as you want. I'm not following you once you leave.
Just in case I am going to insight Big Man.
All right, go ahead.
You're really playing it there, huh?
Yeah. As far as you can tell, he's telling the truth. But as with orcs, they're hard to read. It's mostly due to the fact that Orcish is just a weird language to begin with, and it inflicts, just infects all other languages they tend to speak.
It's like how German always sounds angry.
Yeah, basically. It's mostly, because it always sounds angry, and Orcish is full of phrases that have, double meanings. Depending on inflection, it could be, I want to hug you, Grandma, or it could be, I want to tear out your throat and feed you to the wolves at the same time.
Grandma.
Turns out
It is
hug
very,
and
very
crush
strange.
to death are the exact same word, just different inflection.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm. It makes it very, very hard to learn for most other people.
Mm-hmm.
But it infects the rest of their language, or the rest of the other languages they speak, because the inflection kind of melts into the other languages.
I mean, he does seem like he isn't actually planning on killing any of you if you surrender, so that's a win.
Yep. The commander thinks about it. Oh, I can't make any decisions without the mayor. Will you give me time to discuss it? New York thinks about it, then just waves a hand. I've already waited here 2 days. I can wait an extra few hours.
Like they're gonna be able to bear any more defenses from doing this.
Yeah. He looks down on the two of you. I have things to plan for. Then he looks over at the other two orcs. Tell me if they come to a conclusion. The two orcs give him a sort of salute, both obviously looking somewhat confused, and he turns and walks away. The goblins at this point have grown fairly bored with this conversation and are mostly just kind of standing around or drawing in the dirt with their sticks.
Well, I guess I'm gonna pull out a book and start reading.
Yep. The two orcs go and just kind of sit down on the ground. One pulls out a set of knuckle bones, and they just start playing between each other. Apparently betting for meat is what you can kind of tell it is. They're like in these like weird cube-like formations, but it kind of smells meat-like, even from a distance when they like pick one up to take a bite. The other hobgoblins just kind of are standing around, still trying to look like they're, have a level of decorum. So it's kind of hard with the goblins all running around looking for bugs and the two orcs sitting on the ground in front of a town gate playing a game.
Echo will just shrug, I guess, then just kind of lay down. Look up. The sky.
All right. Yep.
What's Lumpy doing this time?
That's what I was wondering.
That's why I'm also curious. Waiting for them to come out, I guess.
I mean, you can see them. You also notice that Mo seems to have vanished on you after digging your hole and hasn't come back out of it.
Well, Mo's probably doing great in there.
It collapsed and Mo is now dead.
I'm sure Mo would have said something.
Mo will never be seen again.
Johnny's painting. He's painting the scene. From his
Alright.
vantage point.
Yep. At some point, you see a couple of goblins seem to finally bother looking in your direction and notice you, but either you're not important enough, or the goblins are just that freaking bored and don't feel like reporting you. So no one comes out to check. So. Alright. So, about an hour and a half or so passes. And finally, the commander comes back, along with another older man, though he appears to be a little bit younger in age, either that or just less stressed. And surprisingly, is not corpulent or anything. He's fairly fit.
Hey, not a fat boy.
Yeah. But definitely not a soldier. Got a fine shirt and whatnot.
Let me count them all.
And yeah, he looks off the wall. Is the orc Groll around here? We need to discuss terms.
He left. I guess he left us to discuss terms.
He looks down off the wall. The very clear glance of, why are these people beneath me just trying to engage in conversation? The commander seems to fill in the gap.
I just conveniently forgot to mention that we were here from the start.
The mayor, seems to, his gaze softens somewhat, but it still carries some of that. So, what are your declared terms so far?
You leave the city, and you don't get fucking murdered.
He purses his lips.
You don't burn anything. You don't destroy the town on the way out.
Is this correct, Commander? That is the only terms we've been given? The commander nods. Looks somewhat apprehensive. Mayor just sighs and shakes his head. You got me out here to tell me that we're giving up and letting them just ransack the city.
Well,
Do
it's
you
either
care about
giving
your
up or
people at all, or
ransacking
what?
or dying. Either way, they're ransacking the city. It just matters whether your corpse is next to it.
I thought it was a mayor's job to protect the people of the city, not the city itself.
Yeah,
It
these are
is.
tickets.
It usually goes hand in hand, but in this case, it's just there's no chance of victory.
That's
I'm
not technically
just
true. If
trying
all of them suddenly
to
drop dead from heart attacks.
Trying to think of the planning to get an entire town's worth of populace out of the city in short order and keep them fed on the way to whatever destination we currently have lined up, which is currently nowhere. Till your chieftain, I accept, but he must give me at least a day or so to get things planned and set up. I can't get everyone out of the city in a single day.
Alright. I will look at the fucking...
No, I will take it.
Oh yeah, no, you can go do that. I'll sit here.
The two orcs kind of drop their knuckle bone game, stand up. The one that took them out, throwing them back in his pouch roughly. Well, what was going on? Did they surrender?
Yeah, they need 1 day to get ready to leave.
That's a long time.
It's a single day.
Yeah, it's a long time. Son has to work hard.
There's a lot of people. They gotta work hard.
Now, I guess I'll ask Grawl and see if it's okay. He might be mad, though. Not on his table. The hobgoblin just kind of coughs and says, "You mean timetable?" Yeah, that. The table of time. Anyway, I'll go ask him. He wanders off back toward the camp, leaving the first orc still standing there. And about 5 minutes later, Girl comes back. He doesn't look as annoyed as was foretold.
Ooh.
He's not exactly smiling, but at least he seems not to be angry.
Doesn't seem like that person who would smile often, to be fair.
No.
It doesn't strike me as a smiler.
He looks up at the wall where the mayor and commander are still there. Just gives him a single nod and then walks back away from the camp. You hear the mayor mutter something about how freaking rude, and then he steps off the wall. The commander and a couple of other guards kind of march up to the top and keep an eye out, but you hear the sounds of bustling from inside.
I'm going to, I guess, ask the fucking hobgoblin, because he's the one who knows what's actually happening around here, if we can go inside to look for someone.
The hobgoblin just raises an eyebrow. They will be exiting soon. You can't wait a day.
I don't want to stay out here for another day, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been standing around for a while.
Don't really mind whipping.
What, is the sun too strong for you, elf? kind of gives you a sneer.
Mm. Cute.
You hear him order the goblins to get on with it, and the goblins kind of reform back into some level of order. But being goblins, they never fully get back into any real like line or something along those lines. And they march away, leaving you guys in front of the wall.
Order's really in the eye of the beholder.
So, yeah. I mean, the guards are still like standing on the wall.
I'm gonna ask if I can enter.
Commander just shrugs. Don't really see why not. You don't exactly need to keep the gate closed anymore.
Time to start looking for Cook.
Yep.
Yep.
So he goes and shouts down to whoever's below, and the gates are yanked open by a small group of the soldiers.
I can't wait to get inside and learn. Oh yeah, I know. Cook, he left 5 minutes before the siege began. We don't know where he went.
Yep. So, yep. It seems like things are changing slightly, by the way, Johnny. You still can't really tell what's going on, considering you can't hear from the distance you're at, but it seems like your friends are being let go or something.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
I wonder if we get to kill Greenskins now.
Yeah. Very loudly, you all hear a rather dumb voice say something along the lines of, "You mean we built these big tree things for nothing? We were gonna get to smash stuff!" But there is no rampaging ogres, so most likely whoever was talking to him calmed it down.
If you really want to smash stuff, smash each other. Damn.
So, yep. Where are you guys headed in town?
I'm just gonna keep asking around. Hey, you know someone named fucking Cook? He was a Thalshan captain. You know a Thalshan named Cook?
His name's Gordon Ramsay.
No, it isn't. That's also incorrect.
Gordon Spank.
I mean, most people are actively, like, moving things, so they don't stop for very long to give you a I don't know a cook and then get on with whatever they were doing, whether that's loading a carriage or like putting children on a cart or just gathering belongings in bags so they can move.
I'll catch up with you later. We'll just split up and look.
Thumbs up.
So, yeah, where are you guys headed?
Oh, I have no idea the layout of this town at all. I will wander
Of course,
around
none of you do.
if I
Big idea. Most
encounter
citizens
something like a
probably-
guard barracks or anything like that. I'll go check there.
Yeah, I'd probably go to militia barracks.
But if I don't recognize anything like that, I will just be wandering the city.
I mean, if it's set up like Concord, then it should be kind of near the center of town.
I presume Oyeko doesn't know Concord's setup, so.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a tall tower that you can see pretty much from anywhere in the town, kind of stationed in the center, but it's kind of the only major structure that you can see from anywhere. But Are you just kind of wandering around the edge, wandering through the streets, wandering towards the middle?
Just through the streets. And if there's people that look like they obviously need help, like moving stuff, Oyeka will be helping.
Yeah, there's definitely plenty of older folks that need assistance with piling bags into carts or...
Yeah, she will
Who
assist
would
with that as
supplement
much as she
those?
can. So it's not exactly fast work looking.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Uwe?
And while I'm doing that, I'll get some
Center
drinks. I'll be
in
right
hopes to
back.
find a militia barracks.
It's easy enough to find the militia barracks. They're all kind of built into the same general area in settlements, so...
Yeah.
Though it seems like the militia barracks is currently undergoing renovations, or everyone is moving. Most likely the second one.
Mm.
As there are a handful of carts outside that are being loaded up with all sorts of weapons.
I'm going to help load it, and while I'm helping, I will be asking if they know of a Thulcian guy named Cook.
Yep. So you help them load. They seem to be mostly ignoring the melee stuff. They keep some of it, but they're more interested in keeping the rifles and
Yeah.
other muskets and whatnot. So, you ask around while you're helping, and at least a couple of the privates know a guy named Cook, though it shows up that most likely it's the wrong Cook, as either it is literally a cook or it's a person named Cook that has lived here for like 20 years type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, though, after like asking around, you finally get someone that seems to recognize a cook that like fits your description. Unfortunately, he showed up and left basically the same day.
Fucking knew it.
Yep.
Alright.
He walked into town, asked if they had things that needed to be done, like a day before the siege started, and then left, as they didn't currently need any additional fighters.
Yeah, I suppose you know where he went to, though.
Unfortunately, he does not.
Hmm.
Even if he did, he unfortunately probably wouldn't remember it with everything going on.
That's fair. Hmm. Well, continue loading guns.
Yep. So, Johnny, are you just hanging out outside, painting the camp being torn down?
Well, yeah, because eventually Mo's gonna come out. I don't want Mo to be alone.
Yep. So, yeah. Echo, you wander around for a good hour or two, and I mean, you don't make a hell of a lot of progress, like throughout the entire city, but at least a good chunk of like one of the more residential areas. You scour it, you find a tavern, but it's basically only has the barkeep in it, and he's currently packing. So you don't find anyone that even knows the name Cook other than kind of similar to Gouvet, people that they know from town. So, what are you guys gonna do?
I'm just popping. Feel prepared to leave at this point.
Is Oyaka going to do the same? Is Jake here? Did Jake say be right back and I missed it? Or is he just muted?
I didn't hear him.
Also did not hear him.
Well, I guess we'll assume Jake is continuing to do what he's doing. So, yeah. You guys keep helping. Night falls. Most people kind of are mostly set up at this point, as they kind of pile most of the stuff. Well, not pile, but get caravans set up in the center of town. And then everyone that's all set kind of just rest in their carts or wagons, or just nearby. A bunch of little fires started. People weeping and whatnot.
I can't wait for people to be walking out of fucking town and to have that one goddamn scene from fucking Saving Private Ryan. Anyone know a Captain Cook? A Captain Cook. Christ.
So, yep. I mean, you guys keep asking around, but yeah, the story that you heard from the soldier basically is the only one that you get any real info out of.
Mm-hmm. So no, he showed up here and then instantly left. We don't know where the fuck he left to.
Yep.
I'm
Perfect
back.
information. What more could we really want?
Welcome back, Jake.
I didn't know you left, so I told you what you found already. But you basically find out that the only cooks here are cooks that people already know, not the person you're looking for. But it is now nighttime. They've gotten kind of set up to leave in the kind of center plaza and area surrounding. So everyone's kind of bedding down to leave in the morning. Or, getting ready, continuing getting ready and whatnot. And asking around during the evening hours before people really settle in for sleep. You guys basically find out that he was here, but he left almost instantly. So I guess the additional piece of information is that apparently he left due to something was going to happen to the town and decided to leave. Or so the story goes. Is there anything else you guys want to do during the night? Or just kind of rest?
Sleep.
I guess for everyone but Lumpy. What is Lumpy
yeah.
doing?
Oyaka will stay up through the night and just go around comforting anyone that seems nervous.
Johnny's gonna walk around with gritted teeth, fuming. There isn't gonna be a fight.
So, what are you doing, Lumpy? Are you staying up? Just waiting outside the wall near the hole?
I guess I would sleep for a second watch. I'll sleep. Fuck it. I'm just sleeping. I'll sleep the whole night. No fucks given.
All right. Well, you sleep for a few hours, and then feel someone kick you.
All right. I wake up.
Yep. You stare into a goblin holding a spear.
Sounds like an act of aggression to me. Get him.
He's holding.
Why
it.
are you here?
Well, I was painting and I got tired.
You're not a painter. You have a sword and armor.
I have a painting right here.
He just looks at the painting. All right. But you're still a knight or something.
Hmm? All right.
So, give me your stuff or leave. It is just this goblin, by the way. He's not backed up by any friends. It is just a single goblin with his armor, shield, and spear.
Feels like bait.
I'm just saying this is all you see. Still lying on your back. There are no friends. But knowing about goblins, that doesn't tend to stay case for very long.
True. Knowing that I was overlooking a tremendous amount of greenskins, not wanting to die. Like, all right. Where should I go?
Go? You don't need to go anywhere. You need to stay right here and give me your sword and your armor.
Well, you did just say, give me your things or leave, so I was going to leave.
Change my mind.
Basically, yes.
All right, well,
Give me your stuff or die, I guess. Yes, that sounds better.
all right, I'll stand up.
Yep.
And I want to cast Shield of Faith on myself.
Kind of backs up a step and holds his shield up more defensively. Magic? You can use magic?
Absolutely. Now, I was just content to sit here minding my own business, but you've brought this upon yourself.
The goblin says something in goblin, but you don't. Do you speak goblin? Or you
I
speak
speak-
orcish?
I speak Orcish. Are they separate languages?
They are, yeah.
Okay.
They have
So then
some crossover here and there because the races are so close, but there's
Like
not
an-
enough to really understand.
Is it similar enough so I can get the gist? Like a word here or there, or not similar?
Eh, I guess it's not like, yeah, it's more similar to like French and German versus like Spanish and Portuguese.
Gotcha.
I guess like hobgoblins, bugbears, and goblins all kind of speak like they speak goblin, but it's like the hobgoblins are like Spanish versus goblin, Portuguese versus bugbear, like a third version. Like it's all goblin, but it's a little different,
Gotcha.
different dialects. But orc is, yeah, same base root, different languages. So if
How
you knew
about-
the base root, yeah. But
How about you give me all of your things?
Not scared of mage. He's entirely scared of mage. I'm not even having you roll.
Just had a lovely day painting. I can't think of a better way to end it, I say, drawing my sword. And I'm gonna hack at him twice.
All right. All right. And surprisingly, he's able to just barely fend off your blade both times.
Lumpy's
And
about to get
he's going
1v1
to
by a single
retreat.
goblin. He's gonna lose to one goblin.
No, the goblin isn't hanging around for more than that. It retreats back to this camp, screaming something about enemy mage.
Oh shit. Well, that's my cue to turn off my spell and move. So I'm gonna pick up my painting and move at a light jog away from there. Kind of in a semicircle because I don't want to super leave town. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll hustle a bit, and I'll hope that if they find me again, that I will appear suitably not mage-like.
Yeah. Either the goblin stories are ignored or they do not brave up enough to come out and attack you, as no one shows up to like annoy you further in the night. At least no goblins. An owl does land on your shoulder at some point and stares at you.
If you are my fucking sword.
Just goes hoot before hopping off and just kind of standing vaguely nearby on the ground, surprisingly. Just kind of turns around and looks at you again.
I've been extra good today, just painting.
Yep.
Look, I show the painting to the owl.
The owl looks at it, curious. Flutters up to your arm, kind of driving its talons a little bit deeper into your arm than you thought is strictly necessary, enough to at least draw blood.
What the fuck?
And then kind of shifts itself over to look at the painting very close before pecking out one of the goblin figures in the painting, leaving a neat little hole.
I like you.
Just its head swivels around to look at you in the face. Goes, who?
You. I like
Who?
you. You.
Where are you?
Me? I don't know.
Yep. The owl's expression changes, its eyes just kind of drooping a little bit to look annoyed. Why did you leave?
Why did I? Well, leave where?
The town.
Town?
One of my brothers was near, and you left.
Near the town? Near what town?
Indeed.
Oh, this town here? I never went in.
I
waiting
realize.
I was waiting out here for my friends to return. They didn't.
You sought my brothers and sisters, and one was there.
I actually never said that I was seeking them.
Well, you carry me, and I seek them. You seek them as well.
You would have your siblings perish, if I recall.
Not perish. It is very hard to kill a demon, especially one of the Quarlane.
You would have them bound.
We are all bound.
I feel like I remember you saying something along the lines of they can rot or they can stay trapped forever for all you care.
I was merely making a deal. I wanted you to take one of them and not keep me, as you were hesitant about releasing me from my metal prison.
Well, are most mortals you meet pleased with the idea of releasing you? Because demons are not popular around here.
They are not popular near anywhere.
Well, you can understand why I wouldn't be in such a rush to release you.
Regardless, I need a carrier to break me out.
Well, I don't need you to be broken. You're sharp and you don't break easy.
And give me to someone else. I shall not give you more of what you need.
I'm concerned that if I give you to someone else, they will release you. And as a duty, as a hero, it is my duty to keep demons bound.
You don't even know what the Quarlane is.
Well, you're a demon.
So we say yes.
And you know what? I believe you. I will not be letting you out at any time. And you can't tempt me. I'm a hero.
Yeah, well, kind of cocks its head at you. And the talons just drive into your arm a little deeper than they were before. I would suggest at least ditching me then. For while I will not grant you my power, I can make you a very unhappy wielder given time.
You know, I'm sure you're good. But as a hero, it is my duty to shoulder burdens and surmount obstacles, of which I count you among. I will not leave you somewhere some poor sot will find and convince some weaker mind to free you, but not I. Therefore, it is my duty to wield you.
I guess you shall learn how much electricity it takes to burn out a person. I'll be curious to see the test. And the owl just kind of goes back to being an owl. Its eyes open up in surprise. Just kind of hoots at you, waves its wings in your face, and then flies off.
Dude, how come Johnny only does things that like sound pretty noble when he's alone?
And only when he can talk to himself.
It's literally like he's Nero Yeko starts doing fucked up shit, and I'm like, God, I hate this guy. He's on his own. He starts saying a bunch of like noble things. Like, she'd be like, "No, that's not bad actually." No, just completely alone.
Yeah. Has to do it where there are no witnesses, otherwise it doesn't count.
I guess so.
I show up with a painting. Oh, he was like, I like artists. And then she sees a goblin stabbed out. You must have done that. Johnny can't win. And he shouldn't.
So you can sleep
do
the
I
rest of the night a little further in the woods.
Thanks for being loud and distracting. Did I actually get that message from Mo? What
Yes.
the fuck was that? Oh. Shit, I'm gonna go check that out then. Fuck.
Which one are you going to check out? His tunnel or the sign?
Let's see. The sign.
All right. Yep. You climb up the tower, and there is indeed a sign of the cursed moon.
Mm.
Near it, there seems to be a constellation of some sort, but you don't immediately recognize it.
Can I make a roll?
Go ahead. I'm trying to
Would
think.
constellation be from nature?
Yeah, nature probably makes the most sense. In this case, anyway.
Yeah. And that's good, because I actually have nature. Watch as I roll this. Yeah. As I roll that.
I hate to tell you, it's a pretty easy constellation to know. This constellation seems to be a... You're not sure of like the actual name or whatever, but it is a northerly constellation.
North.
Or I guess it appears in the sky to the north is what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. So northerly constellation, whose name I don't know, and it appeared near near a sign of the cursed moon at the top of a tower.
It's like a bell tower type of thing. Like, you know, church tower type of thing. except it's freestanding. Not part of a church. It would probably be a clock tower in a larger settlement, but
does like the moon sign remind me of like any other signs we've seen so far? Is it just like, nope, this is a sign of the cursed moon?
I mean, it's definitely a sign of the cursed moon, but I mean, you don't recognize it having any additional like meaning or anything.
Compared to the amulet from earlier, I still have.
Yep, it definitely matches the cursed moon side of the amulet.
Woo! All right. I don't really have anything else to do here, if I'm honest. I'll like fucking take down note of the constellation. I guess I'll go try and find someone who knows what it is.
All right. I mean, are you just asking random civilians, or are you going to go ask Oyeko, or?
I will go
you
to.
don't know anyone in town, so.
Well, I mean, I'm going to go to the militia because they're more likely to have people who would actually know how to survive out in the wild, and constellations are a good way to keep track of where you are.
Yep. I mean, this militia might be too small to have like a dedicated ranger unit, but
yeah, but there might be someone.
They probably
in there.
have a couple of them that are just like, "Hey, I know that you're a soldier and whatnot, but this is your secondary job. Congratulations."
Yeah. You're a soldier, but you're also going to keep track of knowing where we are. This is non-negotiable.
You get to get navigator training for free. You don't want to be a navigator? Well, screw you. You're one anyway.
You don't want to be a navigator? Well, that's unfortunate, because we really do want you to be a navigator. So you're going to be a navigator.
Yep. So you're able to find one after not too long. The guy's still up. Seemingly, he's like working with the commander to try and get like basically the right path set up. He's got a few maps set, laid across a table with a bunch of little like pieces of wood set up as the caravan and different settlement locations. Known attacker or known warbands type of stuff. It takes you a minute to get like his attention and make sure that he's actually paying attention to you instead of what he's currently planning, since the guy is sitting there, a monocle up over his eye, like muttering to himself.
Yeah.
And sketching and doing kind of minor writing next to the, like on a small piece of parchment he has nearby. But eventually you're able to get him to look at it.
Yeah.
Yes, but that constellation is one that generally points north. It allows you to get there. Was there more to this, or?
Do you know the name? Do you know if it has any like meaning?
It is known as the Northerly Wolf, I believe, by some cultures. The Great Wolf by others. I believe the halflings and dogmen have some other name for it, but I don't remember it. It's a good marker for us, anyway.
Any great significance?
I mean, unless you're a dogman, not really.
Alright. I will offer help in charting a path if they so desire.
He just kind of waves you off. I believe I have it all already set out. I just need to make sure that my reports are up to date and whatnot. Unless you can dive into my mind, then I think I can do this alone.
Haven't quite learned that skill yet.
Well then.
Maybe in a few levels.
Kind of waves you off.
Alright, well, time to go find Mo, I guess.
He seems to be gone. Like, you wander around the plaza and kind of the nearby areas, and there is no Mo.
We can't fucking win them all, I guess.
So, heading to sleep, or what's the deal for Oyeko and Gube?
Yeah, I'm not
Sleep,
going to
I mean,
sleep. as formerly mentioned, I'll be helping comfort anyone that seems distressed. If they're like sleeping with their shit or something for some reason.
I mean, most people are doing that.
Yeah. Like great tales of many near deaths. That's not true. If I need to tell any stories, I'll be telling people about cool things I've encountered while wandering the land.
Like John.
I decidedly will not be mentioning John.
Also, there's no, Theo, I did see that, but also, I want to go fucking Johnny now.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess I just was like, because you were looking for me. That is where I went.
Well, I didn't know how long it had been, so if you were like still relatively nearby.
So, yeah, I mean, you make it out of the city, okay? Mostly because no one is thinking to look underground.
You see Johnny. You see me.
He seems to be Mia. You see his
What?
like little camping area.
Johnny's always Mia.
Well, you left the
I-
area, right?
Would
Or
have
did you
returned,
return?
though. Yeah, I was planning to return
Alright.
once like got later,
It hasn't quite gotten lighter yet.
but I'm not there yet.
Has there ever truly been a point in this campaign where Johnny wasn't Mia?
He is very present for his hate crimes.
Yeah, that's true. And that's when he's most important. Who else would commit them? Me? This isn't the character for that.
No.
Not yet.
You definitely have some hate crimes you could commit.
I mean, yeah, but I haven't done any of them yet, is the point. Not yet. I gotta step up my hate crime game.
No, Johnny's
I left
away.
too much for that.
Start taking notes, kid.
I don't need notes. I need to get out my old ones.
You gotta stop sending messages.
Oh, I gotta start sending messages again.
So, eventually, yeah, Johnny and Mo meet up, and the sun comes up.
Mo, I painted this.
Holy shit.
I like how you can't quite tell if Mo is actually impressed or just being really sarcastically impressed.
Well, anyway, how was your hole? You were in there like a long time.
It's called the tunnel. You wouldn't understand.
I believe. That is good. You spent the whole day in there.
He searched the city for man, but he's not there as far as I can tell.
Okay, well, a couple things spring to mind. What do you mean you were in that hole the whole time?
Big hole all the way to the city.
My goodness. That's impressive, Mo. That's quite something. Secondly, I have bad news, or perhaps it's good news, depending on how you think about it. My sword, my demon sword, says one of its siblings is in this town here. And if possible, I think we should find it and prevent it from being released.
See.
But also, Well, I was just going to say our primary objective is, of course, to find Cook. So, any demon-related shenanigans can take a back seat as far as I'm concerned, but I wanted to let you know in case something were to happen to me.
There was a sign in the tower. The cursed moon in a northerly constellation.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't know what to make of that at all. The northerly constellation. Does that mean we go north? Well, we should find the others. Is that tunnel wide enough for me as well? I don't think so. Well, I trust you. I am a big man. A big man in big armor. You're a small... That's what I was going to say.
I mean, kind of, yes. Mm-hmm.
Expands the tunnel. I've permanently.
All right. Yep. Eventually, you guys are able to make it back inside. Kind of dirty, but yeah. I mean, the few guards standing by the gate who are like getting ready to usher people out look kind of surprised of Knight and Dogman come up from the ground. Yep. So in the morning, what are Guve and Ayeko doing?
Well, first I'm rolling a con save to see if I get exhausted. Sure do.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's just ability checks.
Mm-hmm. So, all of you guys hear the roar from outside. Someone yelling.
This first thing I'd do is just try to, I guess, just meet up with Guve because I have no idea if the other two are in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys can meet up easy enough. You're both kind of in the same general area.
Ha.
All right. I'm guessing Johnny is going to come along with Mo to try and join up as well.
Yeah. Johnny's just assuming that Mo knows where everyone is.
Mm-hmm. So you guys all meet up, and then there's the big roar from outside. Yeah. Someone yelling.
Guess I'll head that way. See what's up.
All right.
I would form the safe assumption that that was probably caused by our friends. It's the wrong assumption, but it's a safe assumption.
It's very safe.
What's the safe zone? I went to the bathroom. What I miss?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Mo's just assuming things.
Okay. Sure.
Well, I mean, is anyone other than Oyeko headed to the gate, or
Yeah, it's like time to leave this place.
Well, you heard a roar from over there, is why I'm going. But
No.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Like an animal roar or like a guttural scream?
I mean, it sounds like an orcish yell, is what it sounds like.
Johnny's gonna pull out his shield, but not necessarily his sword yet.
All right. Yep. You make it to the wall. The mayor is standing on top of it, trying to have a civil discussion with the person on the other side, who does not sound like they're having a civil discussion. Most of it seems to be in Orcish, which of course is not helping the discussion along in any way, because it's very obvious the mayor does not speak Orcish.
I can be an interpreter.
You can. You hear something along the lines of, "You lied to us, there's enemy mages nearby, they're going to attack us, we should probably just slaughter you all now," type of stuff. Are you going to mention this approximate?
Well, Mayor, it appears this orc fellow believes there's a force of mages nearby, ready to attack him.
Why the
Mayor
fuck do you
just
think that?
raises an eyebrow.
I
Except
don't know
we don't
why.
have any mages. The colony surely has some, but we are currently out of mages. They are elsewhere. The orc, who seems to be one of those two from before, not Growl, just kind of continually angrily yells stuff up at the gate. A small small group of other orcs, along with an ogre, just kind of standing in front of the gate.
Are we all there?
Yeah, if you all went anyway.
Where was the mage seen? Or the mage is?
And
He
when?
just kind of looks at you carefully. Ah, you're the one from the other day.
Yeah.
He just kind of points towards the woods. From over there.
Is it the direction we came in from?
Yes, it is the direction you came in.
The direction that Johnny was lingering around as we went and did that?
Yes.
And I'm going to do something that has happened multiple times before, where I slowly frown and start turning towards Johnny.
What, do I look like a force of mages to you?
Johnny,
What?
did you cast magic over there yesterday?
Yesterday? No.
And you want to roll that deception for me?
That was last night. Not yesterday. Are you kidding?
You know, Gouvet, Johnny is very boldly lying to your face.
Johnny?
There's a big deception bonus.
Yeah. Yeah, you know how much he has to lie to himself about how he's a hero? That ain't easy.
lies
What?
to himself every morning.
Johnny,
I cast a
I'm
single
walking
spell.
off the fucking wall.
Listen, I cast a single spell. It wasn't even yesterday. It was last night, and it wasn't even offensive.
Last night was yesterday!
But no, it was like in the middle of the night, like high moon. You know, not yesterday.
I think there's been a misunderstanding.
It's high moon.
It would appear that one of our companions, who was waiting for us outside of the town, did something unfortunate and cast a spell. I think there's been a mix-up.
Give it. This orc is saying that a force of mages arrived. It couldn't have been me.
Hey, excuse me, Mr. Orc. Did you say a force of mages or just one?
Well, if it was just one, I wouldn't be worried about just one. So it must be more than one. The
Did you
other
actually
nearby,
see more
like,
than
nod.
one?
One. He just kind of turns around and an orcish says to just one of the like less impressive orcs, the random line orcs. Go get the goblin. And he jogs off. We got one that saw the mage. He'll be able to tell
The
us.
mage, just the one.
That's what he said the first time, but again, one mage isn't dangerous.
Yeah. Well, goblins are prone to exaggerating.
Whoa. Give did you really just say something so racist and insensitive to this leader?
It isn't racist or insensitive. It's true.
Unless Oyeko had taken a deep breath.
I apologize for the crudeness of my companion.
About a
say-
minute later, the same goblin that threatened you in the night gets basically run back towards you and then thrown to the ground. York points at him and then says in Orcish, "Tell him what you told me." The goblin stammers, and then finally, like, staring up at the wall, seems to get at least a measure of bravery. Then he goes, "I saw a single mage over by the wall. Out in the forest.
Could you tell us what the mage looked like?
He was a human with a weird-looking sword."
Johnny, do you mind holding your sword out?
Well, yes, this is the goblin. I met him last night. I spooked him with some magic, but I didn't hurt him.
Okay, well, if you admit that you're the person who cast that was seen, it's just the one mage. You guys don't need to worry about it.
It's just me. Hello.
They all look at each other. You hear a little bit of grumbling. And they march away from the wall a short distance to quietly discuss things between each other.
Oyeko will turn to Johnny.
Johnny,
Yes?
thank you for admitting it.
I half expected you to say thanks for fucking this up.
Johnny, everything you're involved in crashes and burns. Please stop.
Is the mayor still here?
Yeah.
Well,
He seems to be waiting for the commander to come in, like, so he can deliver his actual.
I painted this.
He looks at it out of the corner of his eye. Or I guess he glances at it, says, "Looks nice," and then continues looking back at the orcs.
Well, no, I mean it's for you.
What are you handing him?
The painting I painted.
Oh.
Things
He
look so
sighs, and then
Not-
turns more fully towards you and looks at the painting.
things look so dire. I thought to myself, we might need something.
Well, I'll certainly need to replace some of my beautiful things. Could you go ahead and roll me just a painting check to see how good it actually is in this guy's eyes?
That one now.
On that one, we'll
A
still
4-year.
be whatever, a 5.
How do I roll the tools? I guess just
Just roll with the attribute plus your bonus. So, or yeah, use painter supplies. That works too. If it actually does that.
Not proficient. I assume that's raw.
Yeah,
Oh.
we'll also have to,
Oh, I have to mark proficiency there.
Yeah.
All right.
or we'll just have to add what, +3, I think, at this point.
Tails.
Something.
Proficiency. There we go. All right. Now it should say. Proficient. There we go. Yeah.
Alright. Yeah,
Middling.
13's not bad.
Perfectly average.
He goes, thanks.
That's. It is fine enough.
You take those.
Everything's so much worse.
Dry mac and cheese glue. It's like,
It's like a step above mac and cheese with glue. We're actually
paint.
using paint now.
it's true. My brushes have all dried out, so I need to re-up, I think.
Baby's first art project.
So yeah, he accepts the painting, and then just kind of hands it to one of the nearby guards, who
Who
just kind of
instantly
stares
drops
at it. Like, what am I supposed to do with this?
There's a hole poked in it also.
Yeah, apparently
The card doesn't
either
like grab by the
didn't
end,
notice
just
the
grab it
hole
by the
or
center
wasn't
of the
paying attention.
I
So
know.
about 5 or so minutes later, you guys see the orcish warlord walk up, or war chief. And Johnny, a bird just kind of happens to land on your shoulder as you're just kind of watching this massive orc. Just kind of nods towards the orc, like just kind of bobbing its head. Doesn't say anything, but it does just kind of stare at it after bobbing. It actually does for a moment before looking over to the mayor. And he just seems to wait for a moment. Doesn't say anything before the mayor clears his throat. I would like to formally surrender. We will be exiting through this gate and leaving for Concord as of a few moments from now. Is that acceptable? Grawl looks back at you for a moment, Johnny. His eyes kind of narrow. And then he gives a nod to the mayor and then kind of steps out of the way off the road. As does the other few orcs that are still nearby. And they swing open the gates and the carts start rumbling out. The orcs let them pass. I mean, they jeer a little bit, but none of them swing. Well, I mean, yeah, you hear them yelling cowards, etc., etc. But they do not attack. And after a time, a good, like, hour or so, the city has piled out.
Suppose we should probably head out too.
Not really much reason to stick around here.
I mean, I'd prefer to just go out the normal way because it seems unnecessary to go out a tunnel.
So, yep, you guys exit the city, and the orcs, goblins, and hobgoblins move in. Do as they wish. So, where are you guys headed? Moving around and heading north, or
So we
following
know
the caravan?
North.
why are we headed north?
Northern constellation attached to a fucking moon sign.
Oh. Of course.
Maybe
Explained.
yes. I might
wait,
be biased by the fact that I wasn't there to see it, but this sounds incredibly spurious.
yeah, I don't know what they're on about either, but
What does this mean, go north?
Shrug.
look, I mean, we don't
Our
have
friend
any
is
leads,
connected
so
with the cursed moon. This is literally the only lead we have at this point, aside from he showed up and then left. If you have any better leads, then I am all ears.
I think it is our best bet right now.
And with that, I'm going to turn and start walking north.
I'll shrug and follow.
Are there any, like, fucking... I have a map of the colony. Can I look for where the nearest like northern settlement would be on the map.
Do you have a map of the full colony, or did you buy the map of just the area between Roanoke and Concord? Because I believe you bought the one between the
Full
two.
map.
You guys have a larger.
I only got the between map.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone else purchased a map.
I did not purchase a map.
Yeah.
Well, Yeko isn't exactly a fan of maps.
Yeah. You would know the next closest settlement is a good week off.
All right, I'm starting fucking
And
walking.
unfortunately, there is no road to that settlement from this settlement. The
That
only
means
other, yeah. I mean, the only other path that leads off from this one leads off towards the east, towards another port city, kind of along the bottom rim of the continent.
Ranger, no word doesn't mean anything to me.
I
So, yeah. You guys head off. And starts off as a nice sunny morning. Unfortunately, it quickly turns to a thunderstorm as the rain starts coming down in buckets. Luckily, you're in like kind of a more wooded area, so you're not the tallest thing. Lightning has plenty of other things to strike.
Rain doesn't bother me.
What if I want to get hit by lightning?
Oh, you got a gun. Hold up.
Yeah, what if I just hold my gun straight up in the air? Can I just get fucking shot directly out of this campaign? Directly into a new character?
Lightning bolt to character creation, true combo.
Yep. So, the rest of that day, other than, of course, the rain, is pretty quiet. Yeah. So, you guys stopped for the night? No. The storm
Yeah,
continues.
For us not to. I don't even know if the dude is this way.
Yeah, none of us do. We're just guessing at this point.
And I'm like turbo tired.
So, are you going to stay up for a watch?
Yep, I'll still be taking second.
Um,
Well, I
I'll
took
take
second. You took-
Oh, that's right. I usually take first, don't I?
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, I'll be taking first.
third.
Silly of me.
None.
a sleep watch.
The sleepy time.
He's always watching in case they get inside his eyelids.
Always have the rested buff.
True. If they ever attack us from the back of Mo's eyelids, we'll know.
So,
Actually, probably won't. He'll probably be like, "Man, this is a crazy dream."
Witch just freaking tries to get in Mo's dreams. Mo's just like, hey, what's up? Like, what the hell? Why are your dreams so freaking weird? That's because they are? Shrug.
Village is dead.
You too?
There is no greater nightmare. So, yeah. You guys have some of your...
Pictures of his bird.
Sends him pictures of some cooked chicken.
Just send some pictures of your dog. Anyway. Or your birds. You still have them.
No!
Something I want to do, unfortunately. So, yep. could you guys give me perception? It's obviously out in the wild, so you do have to pay somewhat of attention.
I'm sorry, what? I rolled that with
This is
disadvantage.
Why did you roll with
It's
this?
a disadvantage roll.
Well, because I have exhaustion, remember?
Oh yeah.
That was a 20 and 18.
That's why I'm surprised. I'm like, what the fuck?
So, yep. Ryako, you're keeping watch. The rain is pouring down. I'm guessing you guys probably like stopped like under a tree or something because there isn't a cave nearby that you found.
Assuming we're under at least something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, out in the darkness, you see a lantern seemingly coming closer. It's still about 50 feet off or so, maybe 100. It's hard to tell because the rain is coming down. The lantern is not being held very well. It's swinging all over the place. But it seems to be headed generally towards your camp. Would you guys have started a fire? I'm guessing so that you can see.
Yeah, I would, at least during my watch, and this is
Yeah.
first watch, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll I'm not gonna
I
wake
mean, if
anyone
you-
yet. I'm gonna let it get a little closer so I can see if I can get like a look at who or what it is.
All right.
'Cause if it's nothing dangerous, then I don't need to wake people up.
Yeah. When they make it to around like 30 feet away, as the campfire is not, it's just not able to give as much light because of how the rain is coming down.
Yeah.
Blocking some visibility. You do at least notice that the figure seems to be a stooped older person, but any real like
Be suspicious.
description of them is hard.
I can't believe Cook aged so much recently.
So yeah, they finally kind of walk into camp, and it seems to be an old woman.
Yeah, okay,
holding
if
a torch.
if I see
Or
it's
not
just a
torch, lantern.
lone old woman, I'll kick whoever I'm closest to awake.
Do you have an actual person that you'd be closest to, or do you want me to just roll a d3?
I'm gonna roll a d3 right now.
All right,
One is Johnny, 2 is Guve, 3 is Mo.
All right.
Ah, rolling a d3 does not produce a numeric outcome. So I'm gonna roll a d4.
What?
And then, oh, that doesn't make a numeric outcome either.
You can definitely roll a
Oh,
d3.
it's Johnny. I don't know what the hell mine's doing.
I don't know either. So, yeah, you kick Johnny. Johnny, do you wake up from being freaking kicked? Or are you just putting enough freaking force in it that there is no way Johnny's staying asleep?
No, she wouldn't be thinking maliciously or anything like that. She'd just be trying to kick him awake.
Alright.
It's not
I'll
like
leave
a
it up to
super
you,
gentle
Lumpy, if
kick,
you
but
wanna-
it's a decent one.
So, I'll leave it to you, Lumpy, if you want to wake up or not.
Oh yeah, I'm waking up for sure.
Alright. Yep.
It's
The
not like
woman, like, kind of stops at the edge of the bright light. The torch is not torch. I keep saying torch. She's holding a lantern. It's kind of sputtering, but it's it's visible. So the lantern gives off enough light to at least light her up. And yeah, she's very, very wet and old. Long gray hair, etc., etc. If you imagine hag, you get the right picture.
Yeah,
Sad,
this is why old women are suspicious on their own.
hag is a very safe word.
Yeah, hag is a very loaded fucking word, is what it is.
Always be safe around hags, that's for sure.
I'll just kind of wave.
Yep.
Hello. What brings you to the camp?
I'm sorry, what race is this hag? Can we tell?
At least
she's a
from
hag.
a glance, most likely human, but it is hard to tell. She has long gray hair over her ears and everything else. She's also kind of hunched and very old, so if she's an elf, freaking heck is she old? Like 1,000 years old.
Yeah. No, I just need to know how to play Johnny.
She appears to be human, though.
As long as it's not an orc or a goblin or an ogre, Johnny's chill.
Yeah, no, I would definitely mention if it was an orc or goblin. Yeah. She kind of waves from the edge of the camp light. Do you mind if I come closer to the campfire and dry off? It is a terrible night.
Yeah, by all means.
Thank you. She shuffles forward and then just kind of moves very, very close to the fire to start drying off, taking off her outside coat, just leaving her in the kind of ratty shirt she has. She also turns off the lantern.
So why are you wandering around alone this late at night?
Well, I meant to get home, but I ended up wandering a little too far away. My poor grandson must have gotten me lost. Little tyke.
How far do you live from here?
Well, if I knew that, I'd be able to get home.
Oh, so you're like totally lost.
I haven't been out in the woods in a while.
You know about how long you've been walking?
It's a little hard to tell, but definitely I was out walking before the sun went down.
And it's first watch?
It's about halfway through, so it's a few hours after nightfall.
Well,
I think around 9:30, 10ish.
and it's light rain, you said?
No, it's still a full thunderstorm.
Ah. Well,
Coming down in buckets.
normally we'd see if we can, follow your tracks back to where you started, but all this weather seems like that's unlikely. In the meantime, would you like to share our fire? Perhaps we can find your way back when it's light out.
Oh, that would be very kind. I'm just gonna lay down near it, if that's all right.
That's perfectly fine.
You can have my bedroom.
Oh, what fine young men. So nice to meet them nowadays. And a fine young woman, too. She just kind of lays down on the bedroll. It gets soaked even more than it already was.
Well, that's how it is.
She seems to just drift off to sleep.
Alright, sorry to wake you up like that, Johnny, but
That's all right.
it's a little... I want to get like jumped by like a magician.
No, I completely understand. I will sleep sitting here, I guess.
Johnny, we can just trade our bedrolls. It's fine.
Well, no, I can sleep anywhere.
Yeah, but you don't have to. I'm not using mine right now. I'm awake.
Johnny can sleep anywhere. Look, it's on the list of things Johnny has shared 2 weeks ago.
Oh, so it is.
Yep. You just lean up against the tree and immediately fall asleep.
So pee.
When you're gonna get a crick in the neck after it, but you
Yeah.
can sleep anyway.
And you
So-
watching.
Yeah. You do see a small group of lights that are like a pretty good distance off. Like you can just hardly see them in the darkness. They're like 1,000 feet off. And they seem to be just kind of bouncing around like lanterns. They don't get close to you, and they seem to be headed off in a different direction.
Shady, but alright.
Yep.
If it wasn't so far away, I'd go take a look, but leaving the camp for that long seems like a bad idea.
That would be quite a ways, especially when you'd have to get so close to like see them for what they really were.
If nothing
Yep.
else happens during the watch, I'll just wake up Guve for watch 2.
I go, who the fuck's this old bag?
She walked into our camp when it was cold, so we let her sleep near the fire.
Well, really, there's only one thing to do here. I'm gonna hunt her since the old lady.
She's coming back human.
Alright. I guess we're just gonna watch them.
Yeah. It's a pretty quiet night. I mean, yeah, the rain doesn't hurt you quite as much because dark vision being dark vision, but you don't really see anything. You think you see a figure like a ways off, like you can just barely see him in the light of the moon as the clouds break for a moment. Some sort of humanoid creature, but it might have just been a trick of the light.
Large or small?
From the flash, I guess there's lightning too. So in the flash of lightning, it seemed to be like a medium-sized creature,
Okay. I'll have my
approximately humanish in size. But
rifle
again-
lying in my lap.
Yeah, it might have also just been a bush or something. You saw. Didn't get a very good look. But other than that, your watch passes uneventfully. It's pretty quiet.
Alright.
Although the thunderstorm starts to peter out, just kind of moving into only rain by the end of your
And
watch.
only then.
No, it's still pouring, but at least the thunder and lightning aren't continuing. And then finally, Johnny.
What's
I mean, the sun comes up, which is good.
It's the cursed sun, though.
no?
It's a curse sun. Yep. And the storm finally breaks and is just kind of lightly misting.
Okay.
And looking out over the area, when the sun finally comes up, you see standing out about 100 feet off a undead. It's at least a creature that's just kind of staring at you with glowing red eyes.
I pull down my shield and definitely start poking people away with my feet. But I'm
I'm
not
a little
going to
nervous when you said I pulled down. I was like, no.
pull down my
He's
pants.
gonna fuck it.
I flash it.
I wave my dick in its general direction as a power move.
You want to eat some man meat?
Fuck.
Christ.
Oh, that's fucking curse.
It's still fleshy, so it's either a zombie or a ghoul, you assume.
Oh, look, it's my grandson.
I would have already been awake at this point.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. You're just doing other things, so.
Mhm.
When the light comes up, you do see it and recognize it as the same thing that you probably saw last night, as it's in the same general location.
So it was 150 feet away.
About 100 or so.
100 perfect range. I level my rifle.
All right. Yep.
Well, we want to.
I mean, it kind of hunches over a little bit, but
That's our
otherwise, it just kind of continues standing there.
Wait, what? Oh, what is that?
A
Do you
dead
wake up the
motherfucker.
now, or are you just waking up the party? Yes, sir. She's continued sleeping.
Well, I'm gonna want to wake her up too. Otherwise, she's gonna get woken up by a gunshot. She might have a
I
heart.
haven't fired yet. I'm just waiting.
That's why I said otherwise.
When I see Johnny gonna wake her up, then I fire.
So you do wake her up, or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. She gets up.
You may want to plug your ears. We don't know what that thing is, and Guve likes to shoot at stuff.
I don't like to shoot at things.
You enjoy it for sure.
But it's relaxing. That doesn't mean I like it.
Let's see.
Yeah, she turns and looks at it. She doesn't seem like all that concerned, but she also is kind of still looks a little sleepy. Who's that?
I don't think it's really a person. It's just standing there looking at us.
Is it like a bush or something? Or a tree?
No, so it's like a corpse.
A corpse?
Glowing red eyes. Does
The
it look
corpses don't stand.
Does it look like large at all, or like normal person sized?
No, it looks like a normal humanoid corpse. I mean, it's missing all of its hair, but it only has like rags. But otherwise, it just looks like a human.
Is it still like raining heavily?
No, it's just drizzling at this point.
Okay. I think I still probably need to stay under the trees to make sure my gun won't fucking fizzle.
I'll go walk up to
Yeah.
it, I guess.
Yeah, we'll say during heavy rain, it fizzles on a 1 or a 2.
Mhm.
That's freaking
I'll
heck.
see,
Unless you just can't miss.
because it's just looking at us. It's not really that dangerous. I'm gonna go make sure it's.
Yeah. It kind of like leaned down a little bit when it saw the gun being aimed at it, but that's kind of the only movement. Otherwise, it's just still.
I will start walking towards it.
I can
Not
sense
sort
the
of
danger.
Yeah. It doesn't turn and run. It just kind of seems to watch your camp, and when you get within like 30 feet or so of it, it stares directly at you,
Hello?
but it doesn't move.
Do you speak?
Its mouth
you-
moves, but only roar comes out.
I'll look to see if there's any like obvious cursed moon marks on it or something.
You don't see any like glowing marks, but I mean, you can only see the front, so if it's on its back.
I'll make a full. I'll make like a little round. Let's see.
All right. It does finally move to like watch you. It can't apparently turn its head all the way around to watch you, so it has to shift.
Don't worry, I'm
But-
not doing it. I just want to see if you got cursed by the cursed moon. That's all.
And upon making a circuit, you do indeed see that a cursed moon mark is on. It's kind of like between its shoulder blades, like right below its neck.
There it is.
As a note, just for the sake of interest, Gouvet, undead are fairly rare in the New World.
Mhm.
Necromancy isn't as well practiced here because there's just simply less mages. And since orcs and goblins and greenskins in general dislike necromancy on principle, as do the dwarves, the only necromancers are basically rogues from the colonies.
Hmm.
Or necromancers from overseas.
Alright. I will cautiously start approaching.
It seems like this poor fellow's been cursed.
Also, this just counts our long rest having finished, right?
Yeah, the longest is finished.
Okay, then I need to do this. Alright, good. So I have a level of exhaustion.
Oh, did you not sleep?
No.
Yeah. All right.
So that's unfortunate, but you know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
We stick to our backstories. You gotta commit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Even when you like are walking up to it as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna only get up to like 6 feet though.
All right. Then. Yeah. It keeps its attention on. Oh yeah, go.
60 feet. I will use. Actually, if I fucking use primeval awareness, does this guy come back as human?
No.
Hmm.
How about this? If you can understand what I'm saying, nod.
It just kind of makes a motion that might be a nod. Like it drops its head a little bit and then like brings it back to look at you.
Okay, well, I think that's a nod.
It just kind of opens its mouth and issues forth its mumbling gurgle again.
This is a quantum.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him with Hunter Sense.
All right. Does that tell you what it is? Just remind me.
Damage immunities, resistances, vulnerabilities, and what they are.
Okay, so yeah, this thing is apparently a ghoul of some sort.
Man, I fucking never use Hunter Sense too. I've used it twice already. Damn, I only got one of those left.
I'm gonna say in this case, it's not going to tell you what about this ghoul is different because you know ghouls are intelligent.
Oh,
And,
sure.
should be able to speak.
The question I should ask actually is, do I, did that count as a good night's sleep for me, or do I have to do like some exhaustion?
Yeah. You're good.
Alright.
Yeah. This happens like at the end of your watch, basically.
Yeah.
So,
I just had to do exhaustion stuff, do things in the background.
Because I also woke up during first watch, is why I'm asking.
nah, that didn't. Yeah, the first watch wasn't enough to break that.
Okay.
So Mo and Johnny get a full night's rest. And Oyeko. Yeah, you had first watch and then we're able to sleep through the other two. So
Yep. Alright, here, let's do it the same way. Do that nodding motion if you, up until very recently, were human, or if you were alive. And not like this.
it finally utters an actual like intelligible word, and does make the same kind of motion where it just kind of bobs its head almost, and goes and says, "Alive."
Yep. Alive.
Seems to just kind of look at you. Alive.
Okay.
I'm alive.
I can see that you're talking to me.
Well, you're undead.
It doesn't respond to you.
Is there like a puddle nearby that would
There are
give
plenty
a
of
good
puddles
reflection?
nearby. Yeah, you could try and maneuver yourself into being able to see this thing's reflection, or see your own reflection easily enough.
Alright, come here.
It does not move.
I will gently grab its hand and like kind of tug it a little bit towards the puddle.
All right. I mean, it's not apparently not very strong, as you were just able to yank it without issues.
And I'll see if I can get it to look into the puddle.
You're able to get it over to the puddle, but it keeps a very firm grip on your hand, and just kind of continues staring at you instead of the puddle.
You look like a zombie.
Well, it's a ghoul.
You look like a ghoul.
Well, that's because it is a ghoul.
I don't think it was recently, though. It has a cursed moon mark on it.
I mean, it sure as fuck is now.
That's fair, but it doesn't seem hostile or anything.
As just a note for the cursed moon, undead generally can't get it. I say generally because, of course, the exception is the undead of Arathia, but
Yeah.
they kind of fit a different mold.
Can
It's
I
unknown
attempt-
if creatures like vampires and liches are, but they are rare enough that no one's been able to like
Ask them.
ascertain if they can. Mostly because
Can I-
asking vampires and liches is hard in the
Can I
sleeping.
attempt to make a guess what is different between this guy and like a normal ghoul?
I mean, do you know anything about ghouls at all?
Only what I would have learned as a monster hunter.
I mean, visually, it appears to be a ghoul. Without, like, testing to see if it's, able to paralyze people, for instance, it would be very hard to tell, just based on visuals. Because visually, it appears to be a ghoul.
Do I
And
know
its
about the?
back is all of the normal resistances and immunities that a ghoul would have.
Do you know about the normal ghoul thing where it's like very hungry all the time?
That is, yeah, common knowledge as far as you're concerned.
Okay, but this guy doesn't appear to be like fucking chomping at the bit, so to speak.
Yep.
Mm.
If you had to put a like expression, though it's not, his expression is just kind of neutral. You'd just say confused, mostly.
Mm-hmm. And when was the last moon?
That would be a dull moon, was the last one. So the last curse moon was 2 months ago now.
Mm. I thought there was a curse moon list. Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
Since
was
it's
recent.
now-
I forgot about the 2 months of fucking passage. That slipped my mind somehow.
Oh,
The
month
fuck
of
did
it.
that slip my mind?
But so the last curse moon was in early spring. So a long while ago. So if this guy got a curse then, it's conceivable that he might have turned into a ghoul more recently since then.
Or he got cursed, much like our other friend got cursed.
Yeah.
Unnaturally.
So, you can kind of speak. What
Can I?
happened?
Alive.
Were you not Were you not before?
Just looks at you, the look of confusion becoming more evident. I'm alive. And speak.
I try to like roll insight to see if he's surprised that he's alive or like he's just been trying to tell me that he's just alive.
Yeah, go ahead. You can try an insight. That's freaking good insight.
Just 20.
At least it's hard to read an undead, of course, because
Well,
they
yeah.
don't normally have the standard facial muscles and whatnot that are functioning as usual. At least from what you can tell, this creature seems to be confused that it's alive. It seems certain about it, but it seems confused as to why it's certain about it.
Do you want to be alive?
I'm alive.
Can I check to see if it has like tracks leading away? Like I'm gonna circle around behind it. I'm not getting within like 40 feet of this thing.
Mm-hmm. There does seem to be a track leading away from it, though the tracks are very faded after all that rain.
Mm-hmm.
With
Well-
a good survival, you might be able to follow them back to their source.
With a good survival. Mhm.
Mhm. What are Johnny and Mo doing in this
I'm
interesting zombie?
I'm just kind of watching.
simply observing the zombie.
Yeah. Watching from a
Doesn't
distance.
really. Mo and I don't know what to make of it.
I mean, Johnny might know a bit about necromancy, or not necromancy, but about undead things, because I'm from Arathia, but that's mostly in the context of dregs, not really like ghouls. and shit.
Yeah, no. Dregs are definitely more zombie, and they are actually a very particular kind of zombie. Like, there is a usual zombie, and then there are dregs, and dregs are different. Mostly because they're slightly more intelligent. Enough to, like, do more complex commands, but not much more than that. They're basically still robots.
Yeah.
But, yeah. It's just kind of staring at you, Oyeko. It does not want to look in the pool. Or into the small puddle.
Well, I'm not gonna force it to.
No, it is definitely like holding your hand, or I guess grasping your hand is probably a better term. It's not like digging its claws in, but it's definitely gonna take a bit to let go.
It's alright. I'm not concerned about it.
Yep.
To hold on, I can hold on.
It just kind of stares at you.
Well, guys,
Yeah.
what do we do about this?
I'm gonna look for where he came from.
Alright, go ahead. Roll that survival for me.
This would be very good. Hey. Oh, I was fucked either way. That was either a 12 or a fucking 10. Ugh.
Yeah, unfortunately, as tired as you are, the tracks are just too hard to make out. You catch them like near him, but after that, they just start to fade too much, and you lose track of them too often.
Motherfucker.
And what did you say, Mitchell? I didn't catch it.
It basically just said I'm talking effectively.
You are? Based on how you're acting, I'm assuming this is definitely something recent and new. So,
Can you try and get him to lead us back where he came from?
yeah,
That might give us clues as to why he's here.
can you
Because
show
I
us?
should find these tracks.
Can you show us where you came from?
Does he have any sort of recent memories?
That's
I mean,
a
it
good question.
can barely communicate, so you doubt it that much. But
did
how are you
not.
phrasing it? Where did you come from?
I said, where did you come from?
It finally breaks its gaze and kind of looks back in the direction that you found a few of the tracks. And then just kind of turns back to stare at you.
Okay. And what's your name?
That seems to stump it entirely.
It doesn't matter. Most of the words in it. Well, why don't we bring you the direction you came from so we can see if we can learn anything?
And back in the camp, Johnny and Mo, you're spooked by the old woman all of a sudden shrieking and yelling something about, "It's a ghoul, save me, it's a ghoul."
The old woman's dementia finally fucking stopped. Jesus.
Well, it seems to be polite.
What do you mean it's polite? It's
Well,
a monster.
Over there talking to our friends.
Before it tears her throat out.
Well, if it tries, we'll just hack it to pieces.
Or tears their- It would not tear their throat out and just screams from us. Oh no. Oh no.
Oyeko is killed. Problems have occurred.
Anyway, this new rule character is joining the party.
He's sick.
If only we could get rid of fucking Johnny like that.
I am Oyeko. No, you're not.
Johnny's
What's up,
lit
Ace?
having the
I am
party.
Oyeko. So,
It's been a while since I've played in the campaign where my character just like hates a party member. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It has not been long for me.
He's slowly improving though.
Yeah. Too bad it's all off screen.
Well, it's on screen. It's just we're not there.
Yeah.
solo improvement.
Character development that nobody else sees. No.
The best
You know,
app
you can ask the question, right? So it's the thing of like, which is more moral? Doing something good and knowing you'll get a reward, or doing something good and knowing that you won't? He knows that it won't change the party's opinion of him. So does that make it more moral?
Oh God.
we can all learn something from Johnny.
Yeah, I guess.
What I
After a
learned from
moment-
Johnny is don't be racist.
What I learned from Johnny is be more racist.
Yeah. After a moment, Oyeko, it does start like pulling on you, like
Okay.
back in the direction it came.
Great. I
And
will.
the first pull is enough to nearly tear your arm out of your socket.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, be a little more gentle there.
Once you're like moving, it's back to kind of more normal.
And I'll call back the party.
Do you guys mind packing up my stuff?
All right.
All
I
my
didn't
stuff
really-
I don't have on is burned.
I didn't really have time to like put my armor on or anything, so it might be
Yeah,
mild.
you can buy
heavy.
new bedrolls. The last ones were destroyed.
I didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would have picked the new one up, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll pick stuff up.
Actually, that's right. I did during the last session. I remember subtracting the money for it.
I remember I was subtracting money for.
Mm-hmm. So, yep. You guys gather up camp. The old one just kind of follows a ways out behind. She stays close-ish to Johnny, but otherwise stays as far away from the ghoul as is physically possible otherwise.
Understandable.
As the ghoul just kind of pulls you through the woods in a direction that is not north.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you gotta take small detours to help people.
Yeah, and this won't help people at all, but we're gonna take it
So, yep.
because that's what people about.
Hey,
You
go
wander
back.
through the woods. And
Yeah.
after about an hour of scaring off every animal or other creature that is anywhere nearby, you seems instinctively to like stay away from the ghoul. You guys arrive at a small wooden hut.
I will during the travel ask, try to get Gouvet to come close so I can whisper something.
Yeah, I will do that.
So you recognize this as a ghoul. How common
Mhm.
would you say that knowledge is?
That's a ghoul.
Yeah.
Very,
Just based on
Very.
looking at it.
very.
Okay.
Ghouls and zombies look fairly similar, but anyone who's seen undead knows the difference, basically.
Zombies have far
The harder thing to notice is the difference between a zombie and a dreg. Or
Right,
even a
what's the difference
skeleton and a Rathian skeleton, one of the Spellborn or the other, the Return. Because those ones do look like, they effectively look exactly like a normal skeleton. It's just their eyes tend to give them away as a slightly more intelligent creature than the skeleton normally is.
I just didn't know if the old lady recognizing it as a ghoul immediately was suspicious or anything.
I mean, some people might think that it's a zombie if they haven't seen a undead before, especially because in the colony they aren't particularly common. But it's not incredibly unlikely that she would recognize it as a ghoul instantly.
Alright.
I mean, if she lives out here in the middle of the woods, she's probably seen more stuff than the average person in the colonies.
Also, old. And if you see someone who's next to a ghoul and it isn't instantly attacking, you can assume it's a zombie because that's just what zombies would do. They don't have any intelligence.
Is there any other conversation? By the way, the ghoul does not pay attention to you, Gouvet, when you get closer. Like
That's
within the
fine.
30-foot radius. It seems to only be looking at Oyeko to make sure she's still following, even though Oyeko really doesn't have a choice in the matter since it still has both hands wrapped around your arm.
Mm-hmm. Gouvet is too tired to deal with this fucking ghoul. They're just here along the ride this time.
So, yep. You guys arrive at a small hut with a skeleton just kind of stood outside, held up by wooden supports.
So
Eyes
like a
don't glow or
scarecrow.
anything. It's just a skeleton. It's set up directly
Like a
outside the door. Yeah, along the lines of scarecrow.
Ugh.
If you build scarecrows out of bones.
Well, yeah.
Otherwise, there doesn't seem to be much else around. There's a couple poles set up and a small garden that seems to have a lot of dead plants, but Nothing else much there. It just kind of stops by the house.
Go in there.
Well, I'll take out my gun. I'll enter the house.
Just kind of bobs its head out the house. Or I guess it'd be in the direction of the house. And at this point, it is going to let go.
Yep, I will head into the house.
Yep.
Inside, you see a pretty freaking trash cabin. Like, the bed is destroyed, torn into two, and not the feathers, the straw just kind of strewn around. The table is, like, smashed into the middle, chairs thrown across the room. A few other furnishings in similar states of damage and decay. And the only thing that seems to be still in at least somewhat one piece is another skeleton that's just kind of laying in the middle of the floor.
Check.
But it's a full corpse.
Huh?
Yeah, this one is connected. It's not like the skeleton outside. This one is like the bones aren't laying around on the floor. They are still connected to each other. And the crackle of, well, very quiet, but still definitely visible crackle of necrotic energy. Yeah.
I'll check for if it's got like a cursed moon mark on it.
Yeah, little white lightning bolts connecting the bones. The telltale sign of a, well, animated skeleton. This one seems to be deactivated or something. But what are you doing to it?
I'm looking to see if it has a like if it has a cursed moon mark on it.
Not that you can see. Usually a cursed moon mark on a skeleton is on, like, its head usually, or on a larger bone. But this one, looking at all of those usual places, you don't see anything.
I mean, this is an unusual situation, so I'll just give it a full look over.
Yep. You give it a close look, and staring into one of its eyes, the eye finally seems to, like, the skeleton, like, registers, and the eye blinks on with a purple light. And just kind of stares up at you as you're staring back into the hole.
Sort of step back.
Well. Hello.
What are you doing, Peyton?
I said I was aiming at it. The second it like turned on.
Alright. Yeah. It seems to pick itself up off the floor. And just kind of looks at you guys for a moment. Where is Johnny and Mo? Are you guys inside the hut as well? Alright. And Johnny?
Inside the gut.
Yeah, sure. I'll be a good guest.
Alright.
And we'll all die like good guests together in one room.
Yep. So the skeleton just kind of looks at you guys, and then in the voice of, at least for you, Johnny, a more usual creature, says, "Hello. What do I owe the pleasure of visitors?"
Well, there's a ghoul that was outside of our camp, and it doesn't know why it's alive, how it's alive, and so it brought us here. So I was just looking to see if there's any signs of what caused it.
Well, I was able to resurrect it. They were very insistent about returning.
Would you tell it that?
I already have. It seems to be disconnected. Perhaps Valens has cursed it. I am unsure.
You shouldn't fiddle around with magic anyway.
That's what I told him, but he demanded it regardless.
What about yourself?
I came into being not of my own accord. I was awakened later in life. Or past my due, I suppose.
I see.
His Spotty wandered for much longer than I was awake. It is brittle and broken in places, but functional all the same. Knowing how to fix it is a necessary component to my continued existence. In service to the gods. Why, the Deathless Sisters, of course. No. Lumpy, you know what gods she's talking about, right? Or do you need me to remind you what the Deathless Sisters are?
It's 11, so I need reminders about most things at this time of night.
Yeah, we'll be ending in a second here. The Deathless Sisters are the twin gods of Arathia, the two main ones anyway.
And of course, Johnny knows them.
Balance and Balance.
Johnny's a big fan of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. I cast cleric spells. My fighter subclass is like Eldritch Knight, but from the cleric spell list. Valence and Valence?
Balance and Balance, yeah.
Valence and Balance.
He just kind of looks you all over. Do you need something of me? I don't have much left for right now. I was resting. But if you require something, I might be capable of giving it to you.
What do you
Well,
mean by something?
Well, I am one of the blessed by the Deathless Ones. I am capable of some small miracles. I am not a mind reader, however. I am unable to figure out if you need something simply by sight alone.
we are looking for someone. I don't know if there's something you can help with.
As I just said, I do not have much in the ways of finding things.
Have you met anyone recently?
More recently than moments ago. The last would be the man named Ghoul outside.
As far as small miracles go, if they want to request any, they can, but I apologize for waking you.
And I'll just turn around and leave.
Very sorry to have disturbed you. I will also leave.
I'm and do the secret hand signs that Villains and Valence fans know.
All right.
It's just finger guns.
You hold one side, please. Side to side.
Ooh!
And then Mo, does Mo have a wish, or is Mo just leaving? All right. The room is pretty trash.
You have a rare opportunity here. Mhm. Jesus. I was saying he said, "What's your wish?" and you could have ripped off a boat.
It's even so fitting for Mo as well.
We're all outside. All of a sudden, the boat just falls out of the house.
Falls out of the house, kills both the people inside. That's not good. Everybody doesn't trust the magic enough. Especially not from some fucking random bitch out in the woods.
All right. Yep.
Yeah, Mitchell really offered us free shit, and we all went, "Eh, we're good."
Yeah, I wish I wasn't fucking exhausted while talking to you. Jesus Christ.
So, yep.
Don't wait for anything from me. You leave my ass alone.
Yep. So. So, yeah, you hear the clatter of bones as she once again kind of moves back to the floor.
Do you have any wishes? They're basically free wishes. So, no thanks, no. Well, good. Have a good sleep. What the fuck? Never had that happen before.
But also, what kind of weird ass skeleton is just laying there, wakes up and goes, "Yo, you want free shit?" That's so sus.
Yeah.
There's not. You could simulate a million worlds. No, Yeko is not saying yes to that in any of them.
The price is your soul. I just forgot to mention it.
Yeah.
Congratulations, gain a level of Warlock.
If you lose all your current levels, you have a
in the middle of nowhere.
Monkey's paw shit.
Your wish will come true later. Well, I wish their wish came true now. What? No, you can't do that.
Yep.
Hey, cut that up.
So, continuing onward. What are you doing with the ghoul and the old woman?
I will try to explain to the ghoul that he wanted to be alive, that the person who brought him back to life was inside.
He seems to understand well enough, but does not enter the house.
Kill the ghoul.
I will wish him luck in his second life.
Mm-hmm.
Get killed.
I love how so we can count on Theo to get new party members into the party by he just goes up to them and goes, "Hey, you want to join?" But now he's just hitting NPCs with it too.
I mean, to be fair, him hitting NPCs with it makes more sense when he actually hits a person with it, because, like, well, he has a fucking pattern already.
Yeah.
It's just weird that this guy decided to join.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did it to an NPC in mine too.
Mhm.
He does it to everything.
Yeah, he did it to Kastari, actually. That's what he did it to.
Yeah,
I swear to God.
Are you vaguely interested?
That's fair.
And being very helpful.
Yeah. Guess have a few. So. Yeah. Look, she was just trying to make a point. None of you wanted
Yeah.
to play along.
Don't worry, I played along real hard in the latter half.
Yeah. So, the ghoul in this case does not want to join the party. Clearly, as it just kind of waves its head back and forth.
That's not the old woman, though. I guess, yeah, we do have a second side, because we got to return the old woman to her home.
Yep.
I will ask her if where we are right now is familiar at all.
She does vaguely remember hearing about a hut that's kind of near her home.
Oh, great. We can find your home from here then.
Yep. So, I'm just gonna skip you guys forward a little bit, just because it's past 11. So, you guys have a ranger. It's not hard to figure out where her house is, and it is
That
indeed
doesn't
another
roll,
little
thank God.
freaking homestead in the middle of freaking nowhere.
There we go. Found it.
It doesn't seem to be her grandson or anything here. There is no one at the house, but it does seem at least to be, like, occupied. Like, it's not as freaking broken down. Clothes on the hook, vegetables look good, etc., etc.
This is your home, right?
Yep.
Great.
It was so nice. Thank you for bringing me back. It was so unkind for that youngin' to bring me out and just leave me with a horrible grandson.
Well, I'm sorry
He's supposed to
hear
be
that.
such a good cook, too.
Hmm? Sorry, everyone, tell me again? Juve, who had just been looking tired the entire time, perks up. Sorry, who?
Oh, my grandson. He said we needed to get some things for a meal, wandered down to the wood to pick mushrooms and the like, and then wandered off. He said he was a great cook.
Primeval awareness.
What is his name? What do you look like?
Well, he was younger than I am. He had gray hair, a little bit haggard. He had weapons.
I forget, did Cook have gray hair?
He had gray hair with, I believe, a white streak in it after the moon event.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What
If you look at his
was
token, that's effectively how Cook looks now.
What was his name? Do you know?
I can't recall. I just know he said he was a good cook.
Does
sorry.
Maxwell sound familiar?
He just kind of scratches her head. Maybe. I don't quite recall. He just said he was my grandson. We wandered out into the woods.
Well,
He was such a nice young lad until he left me.
what's your last name?
Hmm?
Genevieve.
I'm Ford.
Ah, I guess the Maltese isn't out yet, huh? Where's my goddamn card? I think it's possible that this woman is very fucking confused. But
I think
It's a
likely that
lead.
applied.
I'm gonna start looking for tracks.
Yeah. You indeed find a few sets of tracks.
I'm also gonna primeval awareness, see if there are any other humans within 5 miles.
I mean, you have a couple of homesteads that are kind of not in the direction the tracks are.
All right, start tracking.
Okay. And that is where we're going to end it. You guys are back on a trail.
All right, time to end the recording. Bang. At least I fucking remembered to record it.
Yeah.
I'm so pissed about fucking Saturn.